Welcome back to Serie A Spotlight. We're your hosts Jake
and Matt.
You know what time it is!
Jake and I will have a very special soft spot for Salernitana.
We love
now.
This might be bad.
But your group has really some characters in it, no?
Ora naħseb.
Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Serie A Spotlight. This is episode 205 and we're your host Jake
and Matt,
here to run you through all the action of Matchday 21 in Serie A.
When it comes to the prediction series, brother, we are now tied at 3-3 after I demolished you once again. I didn't demolish you.
What was the final score?
I think it was like 6-5 or 5-4.
Once again, not bad.
Not bad. We're improving and the fixtures were a bit easier. So that's 3-3, guys, in our tally. So for those of you who started supporting me, getting behind me and showing me some extra love, thank you so much. There were absolutely none of you. But yes, without further ado, brother, we had a few bangers this week. What was your goal of the week?
Okay, so my goal of the week, personally, now this was tough to choose because just to list them out there was Durosinmi versus Atalanta, who's just arrived at Pisa and scored a fantastic header to save them a point against all odds. There was Lautaro's goal against Udinese, which involved some nice play between Zielinski, Pio and Lautaro. Mazzitelli's first timer against Juventus, that was absolutely crazy. Full Krug against Lecce as well. The way Salamakers put that ball down from Gabbia, long ball over the top, was absolutely beautiful. And then there was Nico Paz versus Lazio, and I think that one takes the cake because it was like a little bit of champagne football with Baturina hitting a back heel to Paz, who curled it into the top corner. So I think it would have to be that one, right?
So firstly, Duros in me, Duros in you, Duros in all of us. I think that was a goal for Serie A Spotlight. Apologies to Atalanta fans. But yes, absolutely. I think it has to be Nico Paz. I'm not going to lie. I was obviously very disappointed that we didn't go for full Krug because his first goal for the club in an important 1-0 victory against a minnow side that Milan typically struggle against, and that shoulder control by Salamakers and the looping cross from the byline for a target man who came on against a low block. I thought it was genius. But a back heel like that by a fantasista like Baturina to another fantasista Nico Paz with a curling strike into the top bins, I think that has to be it.
Yeah, absolutely. Brother Full Krug arrived in Milan. He said buongiorno in the evening. He had his hotel room robbed and lost 500,000 euros worth of jewelry. He played 4 perfect through balls to Pulisic, who missed every single one of them. He broke his toe and has been playing with a broken toe ever since, but he finally scored. So a bit of a mixed start for Full Krug.
On the pitch, he's been super.
He's been super on the pitch, honestly.
Off the pitch, I guess he's going through a tough time. But Full Krug, Milan are behind you. Get the fuck out of that hotel, bro. Yes, also guys, stay till the end. Of course, we have our special segments and our Patreon segments, including a voice note from Cesco, who is our resident Roma fan, and he's hilarious, so stay till the end. He's also put together a bit of a video for us, so we'll see what that's like. You'll see us live reacting as well. An update on our fantasy league, and guess what? It's no longer the same person that's first after all this time. Our prediction series will continue, where we'll predict for Matchday 22 in Serie A, and another segment is back, and it's Wisdom with the Wank.
Yes, Simeon Wanko has finally taken to Instagram to share some of his wisdom with us, and thank God for that, because some of us were going astray and losing faith.
Yes, we thought he got too big for his boots, but clearly not. Shall we jump into the first match day, brother?
Let's jump straight into it. But before we do that, actually, it's important to mention that there were 2 Matchday 16 games that took place before the start of this match day. One of them was Napoli 0, Parma 0. Some prime haram ball from Parma. And Napoli, of course, looking quite fatigued in that game. And it ended 0-0, in fact. There was Inter 1, Lecce 0. Hellas 2, Bologna 3. There were mental goals all around in that one. And there was Como 1, Milan 3. And I just want to make a little comment on this one, because Fabregas said we had 70% ball possession and completed 700 passes, but in Italy they only care about the scoreline. To which I advise Fabregas, you can go back to Spain, where they care about paellas per Juanita squared.
I'd love to speak to a Como fan. I don't know any Como fans, but I'd love to speak to one to see what they make of these comments, because if he just wants to play tiki-taka and not get any results, then so be it. Welcome to Serie A, bro. That was more than 2 games, by the way. He said we've got 2 games.
Yes, that was 4 games. Yes, in fact.
Dropped 4 results.
Whatever.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yes, we have Udinese against Inter to start off.
Milan Lecce first.
okay.
This part's a bit of a train wreck.
We can crop it later on. It's fine, bro.
Okay, so here I'll just go. We'll start with Milan 1, Lecce 0.
Okay.
But anyway, let's start off with Milan 1, Lecce 0. Milan keep the pressure on Inter, just 3 points behind them. That is 2 wins in a row now, following 2 draws. Jimenez and Pavlovic were still out, and the squad was rotated after the Como win, which you just mentioned. Lecce, on the other hand, they haven't won in 6 games during a particularly tough run-in for them. They missed Berisha, Gaspar and Vega, along with Camarda, who will be rejoining Milan later on this month. The previous encounter between these 2 sides was a 2-0 away victory for Milan. Milan lined up in their 3-5-2 formation, at least on paper. Mike Maignan in goal, backline of De Winter, Gabbia and Tomori. Estupere Irier was on the left with Salemakers on the right. A midfield 3 of Rabiot, Yashari and Ricci, with Leao and Pulisic starting up top together. 4-3-3 for Lecce with Vladimiro Falcone in goal. A backline of Siebert, Gabriel, Indaba and Gallo. Gandelman, Ramadani and Koulibaly were in the midfield, with Pierotti, Sotil and Stulic starting up front. Lecce did manage to frustrate Milan with an organised, low, compact block, forcing Milan to rely on wide combinations and crosses. When Milan did manage to penetrate the low block, they were greeted by a certain Vladimiro Falcone, who had the game of his life, and he made 5 insane saves, preventing 2.22 in XG. Oof. The only goal of the match came in the 76th minute after Salemakers took the ball down brilliantly via his shoulder, whipped a looping volley onto the head of Füllkrug, who headed in brilliantly for his first goal in Rossonero. And brother, that is a rare win for Milan over a relegation-threatened side.
Yes, and it looked like it was going to be another one of those games, because Milan were by far the best team for the majority of the game. Lecce, I believe, had no shots on target whatsoever, right? I'm pretty sure, actually. I don't even think there's a need to check that.
Yeah.
It was, they literally parked the bus. Lamek Banda tried to drive and lead some counter-attacks in the second half especially, but they never really tested or got close at all. Milan desperately needed a target man, I believe, from the start of the game. And we've been saying this all season, that against these teams that like to sit deep, Milan have had problems unlocking them, because it takes some form of intricate passage of play to actually unlock them, whereas sometimes with a target man it's as simple as get the ball on his head, play it in the box, and he'll cause some havoc. Even if he loses the aerial duel and it spills, he occupies 2 defenders and frees up another player, So I'm very impressed by Füllkrug. I've liked what I've seen every time he's come on, and I think that he will be very important for Milan this season going forward.
Yes, and that's exactly what Milan needed, and exactly what Milan did in this game. Allegri brought him on in around the 70th minute, and you could see the immediate impact from making that change. So Füllkrug has been a great addition for that reason. So Milan can bypass some kind of press or the compact low blocks that they come up against. With that being said, I also really enjoyed the hold-up play of Leao in this game. Now, Leao has looked particularly out of sorts in the past few games. Rumours about his injury being way more serious than it actually is, some kind of chronic pain that stops him from actually going at full speed.
This is what the main papers in Italy are reporting, yes, that there's some kind of chronic pain that will limit him going forward.
Yes, which is Leao's greatest asset, but I haven't, not to say that the papers are correct, but I haven't seen Leao go at full speed, obviously, because he's kind of being safe because of the injury that he has. However, with that being said, when he plays in central positions closer to goal, I'm really impressed by the improvement he's made with his hold-up play and his back towards goal, because he was he never linked up play the way that he did in this game before.
Yeah. When Leao occupies central positions, I feel like if he's facing the goalkeeper, he's worse off than if he's got his back towards the goalkeeper. His link-up play, as you have correctly said, has improved, and we've seen it with some... he played one forward ball at one point that was really nice as well, and even the way he lays it off and does those kind of like bounce back 1-2 passes. It's impressive, to be honest, because his center of gravity and his sturdiness hasn't always been the best in these central areas. And in the past, he would get nudged off quite easily. That's why he would play out wide.
He releases really quickly, which is a great asset. And I'll give you a solid example of when he did something I liked was when he played Pulisic through in a very similar manner to how Fulkrug played him through 2 games ago. Again, Pulisic didn't score. I don't think it was his fault at all. That was a phenomenal.
What are you gonna do?
Phenomenal save against by Falcone, who had the game of his life. I'll get to him very, very soon. I want to comment on Milan's rotation. Of course, the likes of Estupinian started this game. The winter, of course, because of the injury to Pavlovic, the head injury. Yashari and Ricci started in midfield alongside Rabiot. This is like the future midfield of Milan, the way that I see it. I feel like Yashari, I mean, Modric is 40 years old and Yashari is going to be his understudy, and he's a great regista. He's a great deep-lying midfielder. He has a lot of potential, Yashari. We saw him in the game for Bruges against Atalanta, for example, what he can do. And then Ricci, who's this work in progress, who Allegri views him as this workhorse who would displace Fofana's style of game rather than Modric's style of play, which is how we are used to seeing Ricci. What did you make of those 2 midfielders in particular in this game alongside Rabiot?
For me, I would much rather see these 2 guys than, of course, Fofana and Loftus-Cheek. Now, I understand that against Lecce you get away with it because you're going to have a lot of the ball. They're not really going to challenge you in midfield. They're mostly going to sit back. So you afford to have players who offer less physically, but who are better on the ball. And I do understand the importance of Fofana, for example, in some of these bigger games. Because, of course, a lot of the work he does goes unnoticed simply because of how clumsy he is in and out of the box, which takes me, by the way, to one of the best analysis of Fofana that I've heard. That Fofana is a great asset as long as you keep him out of both boxes. Because it's true. He's got this klutziness about him, this clumsiness where he makes mistakes that lead to penalties or that stop goals from happening, quite frankly. But to your original point, yes, I much prefer watching players like Ricci and Yashari than Fofana and Loftus-Cheek. Personally, Loftus-Cheek, even though this season he's been a little bit better, he doesn't quite do it for me.
No, there's a significant lack of balls in the final third that
grinta,
he has, and the grinta. I've never seen someone with such physicality hold back from challenges so much as well. But I originally meant Yashari and Ricci replacing Modric and Fofana, of course, because Yashari is playing a lot deeper. I think as an understudy to Modric, this guy can be fantastic. We saw good range of passing from him. We saw good physicality from him. And I mean, an overall super mature performance. It's almost good when you say, I didn't even notice the guy on the pitch, because that's what the metronome does. He's like Sergio Busquets, you know what I mean? So I thought those 2 guys were particularly good. I do think they are the future of Milan's midfield. That is obviously before they get flipped for a profit.
Pinch of salt.
Yeah. And of course, a special shout out goes to our guy Salamakers.
What an absolute pleasure of a player
Man of the match.
Watch. He is, apart from his technical ability, which is, I'm pretty sure, second to none in this team. I think he's the most skillful player on the team.
For sure.
From a ball, he's like...
He's one of the most skillful players in the league,
right?
In the league.
It's unbelievable what he can do with the ball, Salamakers. But it's just the mentality he has. He doesn't stop running. He's been playing in one of the most tiring positions all season. He doesn't stop, even this game. And the second he gets the assist, man, he kills me. He just walks up to the curva who are right in front of him. He didn't.
He did. The funny thing is that he didn't even walk up to them, so he ran to the byline after shouldering it beautifully. He took down that ball over the top beautifully. That's so difficult to do. Takes it to the byline, whoops in the cross, and the second it's headed in, he doesn't even need to move. Just from looking left to see where the ball is going, he just looks right. He's right in front of the curve, and he just cocky with it. Amazing. He's such a shithouse. I adore him.
I like him a lot. How old is Salamakers nowadays, bro? You're good at this guessing.
He's between 26 and 27 years old, surely. Because he had 2 years on loan. Last was at Milan. He was 24.
He's 26.
Ah!
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
At 26 years old, I think Salamakers in recent years is one of the best managed players that Milan have had.
Because of the loan
every
spells.
loan spell he was sent on just improved him tremendously. And I'm sure he would have continued to improve at Milan, granted, but he wouldn't have done it with such serenity, man. I feel like going out on loan and going to places where maybe the expectations are less. You're just a loan player brought in. Started off with Bologna, who were kind of overperforming, so there wasn't much pressure over there. Of course, every club has its own pressure. But I really like the way Milan managed him. First the Bologna loan, then the Roma loan, and then eventually he came back to be a key piece for Allegri. And you could tell how Allegri hugged him at the end. He was very pleased with that.
Allegri loves an industrious wing back.
Yeah.
What I will say is I am frightened by the amount of football that he plays and the amount of distance covered in every single match, which makes me fear with the way that fixture schedules happen, even with Milan just being in one competition for injuries, right? Because that's a devastating injury waiting to happen the way he's running in the 95th minute. However,
have you seen this AC Milan injury doubt for Salamakers?
Because he did come off. He took a really bad bobble, and so did Yashari. They both came off injured, but none of them would hear if it was a devastating one. But I've really been enjoying Atekame when he comes on as a replacement for Salamakers. I think he offers something different, but he's still solid in the final third. His crosses are something.
They're violent, brother. He whips them. And
Atekame,
he crosses in a similar way to Bartezaghi on the other side. So there are two players who like to cross early, and they like to cross hard and firmly, man.
Yeah.
The way they hit those balls it's violent. None of that floated crap into the air. They hit them hard.
They don't make love, they fuck. Bartezaghi and Atekame. They don't make love, they fuck.
You want to cut this one as well?
I like this one.
This one I'm
keeping. Nick's looking. Nick, a scream. Glory, Man United. Glory.
Bruno
United.
Cunha. Bruno. Sure.
Amazing.
Shout out to United, of course,
yes.
who smashed City.
Yes, Gabbia's heading is something I want to mention.
Gabbia's heading needs to improve.
Gone are those 93rd minute winners against Inter with your header, Gabbia. I think it's less the heading and more the anticipation. I think you always need to expect that the ball is going to land on your head. So you always need to kind of swing, even if the ball isn't going to come anywhere near you. That's what your strikers are told, at least.
And the movement's correct, right?
Yes,
he rises at the right time, swings there. It's just the contact,
Absolutely.
the way he connects with the ball.
Exactly.
They'll come.
Yes. That's enough about Milan. A little bit about Lecce. It's hard to comment on Lecce because, firstly, I don't think I've ever watched Lecce this closely to say they are a team of muggers, as Jake and I said. Just in Maltese would call them perfs, people that care about their looks, you know.
So I think they collectively went to the barber before the game, and they were defending really well.
They were defending really well,
like
and looking really good.
Seibert's man marking on Leao was brutal.
Yes,
to watch. He had him in his pocket for most of the
Leao
game.
was doing the whole
every
time,
and every time it's a crunching tackle. He gets up and he's like,
who are the girls going crazy about, man?
Pierotti. Yeah.
Damn, Pierotti. Jeez. But anyway, star of the game for Lecce was Falcone. I think Milan could have won this by a fair distance. I think it could have been a 3-0 if it weren't for the ever-impressive Falcone, someone that we've been praising since he displaced Audero at Sampdoria. So I have a game for you. Is Falcone better than where I'm going to give you a list of goalkeepers and you're going to tell me if Falcone is better than them.
Okay, let's go.
Montepo,
Yes.
Leali,
Yes.
Suzuki,
Yes.
Bute.
Yes, similar level, I think. I think similar level. This season, I think Bute has been very good overall. I haven't watched much of Bute overall, but I know that Falcone has been doing this.
No, you've watched Bute and you've watched Como. They just concede way less shots.
Yes,
than
but I
Lecce.
mean like over many seasons. We've been watching Falcone
fair,
regularly for a while.
Fair,
you know?
fair. Semper,
No, Falcone is better than Semper.
Audero,
I'd go Audero. I think Audero has been excellent as well this season. Audero, the thing is, I think Falcone is more consistent than Audero. But Audero has some games where he's absolutely unstoppable. Granted, Falcone has those games as well, but with Audero, it's even more miraculous somehow. I think they're quite similar, to be fair. What do you think?
I'll tell you what. Okay, let me say it now.
Yeah.
Falcone is better
Than Audero?
than Audero. I think Audero at times displays some soft goalkeeping here and there, which
That's
I think
true,
I think
actually.
Falcone is just more consistent. And I think when Audero has his great moments, I think Falcone has had double of those great moments, man.
Fair.
Israel,
No, Falcone.
Muric,
Great keeper, but Falcone.
Okoye,
Falcone.
Provedel.
This season, Provedel has rediscovered himself. If you had to ask me this question last season, I would have gone Falcone.
Yeah, same.
but I think Provedel is the more, even the fact that he plays with Lazio, he's played in Europe and all that, of course I would go Provedel.
Yes, I'll go Provedel
Yeah.
as well. So I think what we can say, because these are essentially the bottom half kind of keepers. I didn't mention Magnan, Di Gregorio, or any of those guys. So I think he's like the best of the rest. Falcone and
fair.
I think even better than some of the top goalkeepers in Serie A, I would say, on his day. Like if I were to toss Caprile is better than him. Caprile is better than Falcone. Mike is. Di Gregorio is. Of course, Villar is. Carnesecchi is. There's some top competition
yes.
up there.
I
wonder if like Ravaglia, for example.
Ravaglia is also very good. I've seen Ravaglia display, again, like you mentioned, soft goalkeeping. I've seen him do that more than I have with Falcone in recent times. And Ravaglia's place isn't even locked down in that squad. Now, granted, he's dealing with Skorupski, who's an international. But yes, Falcone is definitely ready for a jump, quite frankly. He broke into the scene quite late, right, Falcone? I remember the commentator mentioned that he reminded me that he was Audero's sub at Sampdoria. Remember that?
At Samp, of course.
I had totally forgotten about that Audero and Falcone were both at Sampdoria. But he's no spring chicken.
Falcone?
Yeah.
He's like 32, 33, I think.
No, bro.
He's older?
Yeah, for sure.
What, 34?
No, not 34. I would say late 20s.
Okay, so
Falcone age.
You said he's older, and now you're saying late 20s.
How old did you say? How old did you say?
I said 32.
Sorry. I thought you said 22, bro.
No way.
Yeah. Falcone's age. Wait a second, because he's so underrated. He doesn't even come up when you search Falcone. He's 30. Yeah. Exactly.
He's 30.
30.
Okay. That is young goalkeeper.
Yeah.
The Camarda situation. There are rumors linking Camarda back to Milan. He's currently has a small shoulder injury, but he'll be back. Apparently, Milan and Lecce are discussing this now after the game.
So there were some development fees that Lecce are seeking compensation for. Because, of course, there were rumors. Now we don't know the exact details of some money being sent from Milan to Lecce depending on the performance of Camarda, right? So if Camarda scores, for example, etc., etc. But Milan are trying their best to bring him back so they could monitor him and his shoulder injury from a closer lens.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Why not? Apparently, it's more serious than they thought, this shoulder injury.
Shoulder injury?
Yes.
We've all had them Camarda at the gym, the old rotator cuff, bro. It'll come and it'll go. Of course, when it comes to the standings, Milan still find themselves in second place, just 3 points off of leaders Inter. Whereas Lecce find themselves in 18th place, level on points with 17th placed Fiorentina. A win could shoot them up level on points with Genoa in 16th.
Yes, shout out Fulkrug, das ist mein Kopf. You know what that means?
Do I want to know what it means?
This is my head.
This is my
In
head.
German. There we
And
go. There's
this is my toe. It's broken, but it doesn't matter.
There
Congrats,
we go.
Fulkrug.
He goes, my toe is broken, but I'm German.
Brother, give me the wine.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you
So
very
we've
much.
got Udinese against Inter. And Inter actually managed to avoid last year's mistake against Udinese where they lost 2-1 at home. Atta scored the winner while Davis got both a goal and an assist. And it was Dumfries, remember him, who had opened up the scoring that
Oh my
game.
God, Dumfries.
Yeah. However, before their win in the reverse fixture, Udinese were coming off 6 consecutive defeats against Inter, both home and
Jeez.
away. So that previous encounter was quite a one-off for them. This was Kivu's first victory over Runjaic, having lost to him twice before, of course, once at Inter and once at Parma. Now, of course, the score was 1-0 for Inter, who lined up with Sommer in goal in a 3-5-2 formation, with Augusto, Akanji and Bissek at the back, Di Marco on the left, Henrique on the right, and Mkhitaryan, Zielinski and Barella in the middle, with Pio, Esposito and Martinez up front. For Udinese, it was Okoye in goal in a 3-4-2-1 formation, with Christensen, Kabasele and Sole at the back, Zanoli and Kamara on the flanks, with Karlstrom and Piotrowski in the middle, Atta and Eklinkamp playing behind the broad shoulders of Davis. Of course, Zaniolo was missing as he was suspended, while Buxa was still injured, while Inter were missing, of course, Dumfries, Martinez, the goalkeeper, Di Gennaro, Palacios, and Çalhanoğlu.
Zaniolo is also injured.
Is he injured too?
Yeah.
Okay. In the 20th minute, Inter managed to get their goal. It was an excellent goal. There was a bit of great play involving Zielinski, who played a very progressive pass to Pio Esposito, who held his man off very well, displaying great strength for his age and flicking it to Lautaro, who shimmied and found himself between 4 massive Udinese players and just placed it into the bottom corner. One of those moments where he had to rely mostly on instinct, and that's where he thrives, as we tend to discuss.
Exactly.
Di Marco went on to score in the second half after being unleashed by Pio, but the goal was disallowed for an offside in the build-up. After taking the lead, Inter stayed compact and disciplined. The team resisted the urge to overcome it for the second goal. They prioritized protecting their advantage and managed the game intelligently. One of the most interesting adjustments, in my opinion, came late in the match, where we saw Manuel Akanji moving to a holding midfield role, allowing Inter to actually have an extra body in midfield while bringing on another defender in Acerbi and protecting the space in front of the defense and the tricky players that Udinese brought on, especially with Miller coming on late on. They managed to kind of fizzle them out. This was a very mature game from Inter. It was day and night from the last game against Udinese.
Completely. And the last game we saw against Udinese, I mean, Inter had maybe played, 6 games with Kivu? 5 games with Kivu. So you could see that this is an Inter that have gotten used to the coach. The coach would have learned from his mistakes from the last game, of course, where it became a bit of a end-to-end and a bit of a shootout against a very physical team. You could see the adjustments that he made for this game. The movement of Akanji moving to midfield to deal with the physicality that Udinese offered. Interesting to see Udinese's approach, where they've most recently been playing a 4-4-2. They went back to that 3-4-2-1 formation that they're more known for, with Eklinkamp and Atta dropping into the middle, trying to really pack that midfield, which is where Akanji really came in handy late on. But of course, Inter played midweek this week, where they had to play against Lecce, and that's no easy feat, getting that, scraping that 1-0 victory. Another 1-0 victory over here away to Udinese, with a bit of rotation here and there as well. Zielinski for Çalhanoğlu, Mkhitaryan for, either Zielinski, Sucic, or whoever would fit in that role. Carlos Augusto at centre back, Pio Esposito up front. Of course, they have to play Arsenal tonight. So that's 4 matches in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah. And I think Kivu he deserves credit for his approach, because he rotated the squad without really losing much balance. He respected Udinese's physical threat, And I don't think he took any real unnecessary risks ahead of the Arsenal game that is being played tonight. Of course.
No, I think he
managed
showed
it super well.
great caution. I
Yeah.
mean, Thuram didn't play a single minute, and neither did Bastoni.
But then he didn't just rotate. He rotated intelligently. He matched them for strength. Like, I really liked the deployment of P.O. Esposito over here. And I felt like Lautaro was necessary because you do need your top scorer in a game like this. It can be so hard to unlock them.
Absolutely, and of course, in a game against Udinese, we joke about it a lot, but this is a game where Lautaro Martinez, you can place a fiver on him scoring.
In fact, it's his 7th goal against Udinese.
There you go.
Yeah. Inter, bro, with this victory, have been without a defeat in Serie A since the 23rd of November when they lost 1-0 to Milan. In the following 9 match days, they recorded 8 wins and 1 draw. The draw was a 2-2 result against Napoli. Do you think they can... do you think that the days of Inter dropping points... at the beginning of the season, we saw an Inter that was more human. We saw an Inter who managed to rack up 4 losses quite quickly in the league. Do you think that from now it's going to be quite consistent against these smaller teams?
Yes. My opinion right now, as has been for maybe the past month or so, is Inter are the best team in the league. Inter are going to win the league. There's no one that attacks like Inter. There's no one with the starting 11 that Inter have. And to do this with a young, inexperienced coach shows that this team is well run. It's not just, you bring in a good coach with good experience and he's going to gel these guys together. These guys have been together for ages. They're all, as Mourinho would say when he was talking about City, investments from the past.
Yeah.
From the past. These are all investments from the past. You look at Lautaro, you look at Barella, you look at Di you look at Carlos Augusto. These are guys that have Mkhitaryan.
Yes.
These are guys that know the club. They know how the coaches want to play. They know the club's vision. And that's essential for them, just being consistently such a pain in the ass. And this season, what they've shown us is great consistency. They're beating every single team under them, struggling against the top teams. That's where you see a bit of the manager's inexperience and player trauma, really, from last season. But I think unless Milan or Napoli stop dropping points against useless opponents, then Inter are going to run away with it.
Yeah.
These guys, what they do, Milan and Napoli, is they need to stay on top of it because they need to make those 6-pointers against Inter count.
Because
right now they're not counting. They're all beating Inter in a head-to-head, but Inter are still first.
Yeah. Compare this victory for Inter, for example, to Napoli's victory over Sassuolo. It's true Napoli scored early, but them holding on to the lead was a lot less convincing than the way Inter do it, man. Inter can shut up shop pretty well, recently at least. I just want to give a shout out to Henrique, who has been doing the basics quite right, in my opinion. He's been fine. He leaves a lot to be desired going forward, especially because he looks so good in highlights going forward. Maybe because it was the French league, maybe because they offer more space in the French league, whatever. But you see his highlight reels, he's darting down, attacking the space.
Yes.
Can't quite do that in Italy. But I think he's been quite solid overall. He's improved. I have another question for you, brother. Mkhitaryan. Nowadays, watching him, he's a lot less convincing than he used to be. He misplaces passes, he has heavy touches, sometimes loses the ball. And Sucic, on the other hand, has been a breath of fresh air. Why do you think it is that coaches in Italy especially tend to take longer to phase out some of these older players?
It's a good question.
Surely you've got Sucic in there who's had a pretty decent start. Could do with more minutes, right?
Absolutely, yes, to answer your question. And I think the more you get Sucic in, the more minutes that he gets, the more accustomed he's going to grow to the team. But I think what you get and what coaches really value in Italy is using experienced players. Because experienced players in a game like a game away to Udinese on a weekend after you just, played a midweek match, maybe using an experienced player that's going to help you grind out a result and has experience getting wins, getting 3 points, someone that's been managed by the likes of Mourinho, by whoever the fuck was at Arsenal before as well. So he played at Arsenal, he played at United, he played at Dortmund. Yes,
Arsenal,
so
United,
someone that's
yeah.
been coached by essentially some of the best coaches in the world, and someone that knows how to grind out a result, and that's
Roma.
been at the club for ages. Roma as well. He's been coached by the great Fonseca. Then as well.
Oh, he was amazing. On
He
the
was.
first
he had his best season.
Yeah,
under
I think so,
Fonseca,
I think so.
Playing behind Cesco.
Yeah, yeah.
He was a monster.
My question over here is, okay, sure, I understand that youth can't be prioritized in important moments, but does that mean that Mkhitaryan started this game because he was being rotated for Sucic to start against Arsenal tonight? Or is he
Probably.
will he really? Do you think he'll start Sucic?
Bro,
against
I
Arsenal?
think if Hakan is fit,
Hakan.
I think he goes Hakan in the register role, and I think he goes Zielinski as the left centre mid.
Yeah.
And first substitution in midfield would be Sucic, either coming on for Barella or coming on for Zielinski.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Frattesi,
Yeah. Frattesi,
has a hot sister.
that's it. And it ends there, huh?
Frattesi is great. Frattesi needs minutes. Frattesi needs to go to Roma.
Frattesi needs to be a kind of midfielder in a 4-3-3 who arrives late in the box. That type of player playing off the
Exactly.
shoulders of a striker.
Exactly.
Literally like Fabian plays at Bologna, you put Frattesi there, I think he'll score twice as many goals as Fabian
Yes,
scored.
yes.
That's
He'll
like
be the highest
that might
scoring
be
midfielder in
That
the
might
league,
be the
bro.
perfect place for him, Bologna, actually. But anyway, standings wise, we have Inter top with 49 points after 21 games. That's 3 points ahead of Milan. While Udinese, where do you think they are? You guessed it, they're in 10th with 26 points.
Absolutely. We're heading to Sardinia, where there was the biggest shock of the week. Cagliari 1, Juve 0. Juve, who have been playing so well, who've been getting such good results, except for the random draw to Lecce. But was an incredible bounce back by Cagliari after a 3-0 defeat to Genoa. They missed Belotti, Felici, Foloruncio and Deola here. Juve's 6-game unbeaten run has disappointingly come to an end as they gear up to face Napoli next weekend. Here they missed Rugani, Milik and Vlahovic. Previous encounter here was a 2-1 victory for Juve. It was a 3-5-2 formation for Pisacane's men. Caprile and goal, backline of Luperto, Mina and Pedro. Ober was on the left with Palestra on the right, and the midfield trio of Mazzitelli, Gaetano and Adopo with Esposito and Kilicsoy up front. 4-2-3-1 for Spalletti's men with Perin in goal, backline of Kalulu, Bremer, Kelly and Cambiaso, Locatelli and Cope in the double pivot with McKennie on the right, Yildiz on the left and Miretti playing behind Jonathan David. The only goal of the match came in the 65th minute as Gaetano delivered a free kick into the box and Mazzitelli volleyed perfectly into the bottom corner. It was like a short free kick. So it was a low in-swinging cross just on the edge of the area.
Exactly.
Where Mazzitelli almost had his back towards goal. He hit a volley perfectly. It went through some bodies, leaving Perrin blindsided. I do think typically you'd expect better from a goalkeeper over there. It was this weird,
But it was struck so
yes,
quickly.
but it's like he didn't fully commit to it. It's like he wasn't fully outstretched. I don't know. But Perrin was helpless and Juve's defense was caught napping. That was the only goal of the game. But just to paint a bit of a clearer picture, Juve had 78% ball possession, 21 shots and 18 corners.
And 748 paellas per Juanita squid.
There you Fabregas, there you go. XG. So yet they didn't really create any clear-cut opportunities apart from Yildiz hitting the post in Yildiz fashion. In fact, their XG for 21 shots, 18 corners and 78% ball possession was 1.32. So it was high possession that didn't translate to danger, which to me screams you're playing against a team that's playing a low block catenaccio. You need a target, man.
You do. Yes, very
You
good point.
definitely
You
need,
definitely do.
you need
I
to
mean,
do what Milan did.
This is the situation against these teams, these players who move intelligently outside the box, etc., etc. They become redundant. And the only options they had in reality were Openda or David, who aren't quite that target man, right?
No, not at all.
I think that there was an element of complacency about Juve this game, simply because of the gear switch once they conceded the goal. The panic, the intensity that they started to attack with. I think they needed to approach the game maybe a little bit more intensely, or at least start the second half with more intensity, if not from the very beginning. You know what I mean? If you look at the momentum chart,
I love the momentum chart.
The momentum
man.
chart gives you a very good idea, because it shows, for example, Juve dominated the first half. The entire half was theirs, with momentum to halfway, like, you know, the halfway point.
Yes.
The second half started, Juve had a little bit of momentum, and then Cagliari had the ball for just a little bit. Like they dominated literally like a small spell at the start of the second half.
5 minute space.
Yes. Finally, Cagliari scored, and that is when Juve literally upped their momentum, playing at twice the intensity that they had played with previously this game. Yes, I think that maybe it was an element of complacency. Perhaps it could have also been fatigue. What do you think?
I think that I think what I said earlier, man. So I don't just discount it to. I do just discount it to the target, man.
Yeah.
I do, because Juve are playing better football than they have in the past 2 seasons. I think Juve have looked really good, even in their disappointing draw to Lecce. I think they move the ball well. I think they're pretty direct. I think in a game like this, where even Spalletti said after, it's like, we're fucking frustrated, okay? He, much like Fabregas, he shat on the opposition, which for me is ridiculous. He said, like, they played an unattractive brand of football. Like, okay, congrats, you just lost to Cagliari, bro. Like, Cagliari found a way to get 3 points off of Juventus because they did something right, whether it's Catenaccio. As long as they're not murdering anyone, that's absolutely fine. But, point being, David is a bit more on form than before. He's hit the ground running, right?
He stuck with him a bit, Spalletti as well. He picked a man and stuck with him, unlike Tudor, who was changing every week.
But, you know, David likes to drop in a bit deep.
Yeah.
He likes to link up play. He's not a target man. And plus, you think Yerry Mina doesn't know that David is slightly low on confidence? Yerry Mina made David's life fucking hell. God knows what he was whispering in his ear. And then Openda comes on.
Yeah.
There's no... You can't, if you're playing against that low block and you're playing against Yerry Mina and you desperately need a goal, there needs to be a target, man. And it's no wonder they are now going, apparently, reports are saying they're going all out for Mateta.
Jean-Philippe, yes, his
Jean-Philippe
contract
Mateta
is approaching the end, and apparently he is enamored by Serie A, or infatuated, let's use that word, by
And
Serie A.
he's perfect for it. He's what, 6'5".
He's exactly what they need.
Incredibly technically gifted. He can drop in deep. He can play as a target man.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. And there's, well, God bless Crystal Palace, and any Crystal Palace fans listening, shout out to Andy. It's a bloody disaster for them because they just lost Guehi, who's a great centre back who they thought they were losing to Liverpool, got to keep him. Now halfway through the season they lose him to City. In the summer they lost Eze, and now Glasner is like, look man, their manager Glasner, who's been linked to United and a bunch of other jobs, like, look man, if you're gonna let Mateta go now halfway through the season, I'm out. What the hell am I doing here? You're getting rid of everyone for me. So Palace, it's a nightmare for them. But if Juve manage to get Mateta, and Mateta hits the ground running the same way full crew gets the ground running, I think that is definitely one of the missing pieces in Juve's puzzle. The other missing piece, and then, is in the double pivot. Cope Miners not good enough again.
Coop Miners is playing in a double pivot that consists of
him and
Locatelli. Now, we actually have a question on Locatelli, and remind me to get to that. But I'm not sure that Locatelli and Coop Miners have enough industry to make up for 3 midfielders. You know what I mean? Like, if you're up against Adopo, Gaetano, and Mazzitelli, I'm not quite sure that Coop Miners and Locatelli can cope with that every week in, week out. Now, granted, this game, just because of the technical difference, they dominated most of the ball, blah, 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 etc., etc. But I think they could have created more chances if they packed the midfield a little bit more. Or maybe if Thuram was there.
If Thuram was
there, right? Thuram was perfect
whatever.
on a double pivot.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But
What are they going to do, right?
Locatelli and Cope Miners is just a little bit limp. And, you know, Locatelli is many things, but he's not a game changer. And Cope Miners used to be that once upon a time. But I think those are the two main areas of focus for Juve moving forward. I think they need a good central midfielder, and I think they need a good striker. And I think, to be honest, they're golden. I think they're already good as is, but these are the kind of things that can take them to the next level. Funnily, Chiellini warned the players before this game. He said, "This is a trap game." This is exactly the kind of game you lose. But it fell on deaf ears, I guess. But pure catenaccio from Cagliari, pure shithousery by Mina at the back. I think his mental warfare is more than just this kind of quirk that you get in a football. It's not just a riles up the fans on FM as a trait. You know what I mean? This guy, if he smells fear in you, this guy made Morata crash out. You know what I mean? He dominated Jonathan David, and at the end, you have 3 Juve players all trying to get the ball from
one
him
of them,
to take a corner.
I felt bad for him. He was bullied.
Yeah, and Mina's just holding the ball, and they're all trying to get the ball off him, and they can't.
Yeah.
It's like when the Form 1s play against the Form 5s, man.
Literally.
That's what it felt like.
He must be awful to play against.
Mina, I'd rather play against
He'd
fucking
be
Jaap Stam.
He'd be stepping on your toes and pinching your ass and nibbling your ear.
And whispering shit about your kids in your ear, like, bro. Your kids are ugly, he'll be telling you, like,
exactly.
Kids are hideous. What was that photo you posted, bro? Terrible,
like
terrible forehead on your son.
Yeah.
He'll learn your daughter's name, like, bro.
Exactly. He'll be going on about something your wife posted on a photo that she came bad in. Like,
God, your wife's tits, bro. Your mom's your agent, really? You were gonna say something.
Tanino Batman Choco Loco actually asked us a question about Locatelli. He says, "What's up, broccolinis?" That's us. His question for the next episode. I checked out SofaScore's little player of the season race, showing players with the top rating so far this season. Çalhanoğlu and Modric 1 and 2 isn't exactly what I would have expected, but it didn't shock me. But I did not expect to see Locatelli at number 3. We really don't hear Locatelli hyped as much. He even gets scapegoated a bunch, sort of like Cristante. When Juve's midfield is praised, it's usually about Thuram. How do you make sense of this? Is Locatelli the most underrated player in Serie A?
Is Locatelli the most he's up there, because one of the things that we have said before is when Juve brought in Kefrem, when they brought in Douglas Luiz, and when they brought in Cope Miners, we were expecting the midfield to look like that, right? We weren't exactly expecting Manuel Locatelli. And when Locatelli was starting ahead of the likes of Douglas Luiz, we're saying, oh, it's until they gel together, they're using a familiar piece over there. But he's essentially like the Mkhitaryan. He's the one that everyone is trying to displace, but they can't. Albeit now with Mkhitaryan, they've managed with the likes of Zielinski and Sucic. But Locatelli, I think is indispensable to Juve with the way that he controls the tempo. I don't think they have a player like him. And I think typically players that play that role do tend to be underrated. The likes of Lobotka, the likes of Ben Nasser when he was at Milan, Fagioli at Fiorentina, who's been playing well in that role. I think he's supremely underrated, Locatelli.
I think the reason, yes, I do agree that he is underrated. The reason why his ratings are probably so high is because he does a lot of he completes a lot of stats that SofaScore values, like successful passes. He doesn't lose possession much. He wins a lot of duels because he does have a lot of fight in him, Locatelli, of course.
Yes.
So I think that is the main. He passes the ball a lot sideways. But sometimes my main criticism of Locatelli, and probably the main reason why people are actually so frustrated by Locatelli sometimes is because he has games where even the simplest pass, he just can't complete it, man. When it goes bad for Locatelli, it goes very bad.
Okay.
That's my observation.
Does that happen regularly in your eyes? Because I don't often see.
Not super regularly, but I have seen him drop a few horror shows. The season less than usual. I mean, the season he's been pretty overall solid, and even for Tudor, he was a good soldier, for him. But yeah, I do think that he's underrated, and the fact is, for example, that I don't think most people would even consider him to be in contention for a starting spot for the national team, for example.
No, and at a point he wasn't even being called up with Spalletti for the national team, and now he's indispensable to him with a 3 at the back. Although now he's changed that to a 4 at the back.
Locatelli Politano syndrome, we call that.
Yes, and I think Locatelli is often misprofiled because he scored a brace in the Euro, so people kind of expect to see numbers from him, but he's a deep lying playmaker. I think when you bypass everything before you see the defense, you see Locatelli there trying to break down play. So I think he's underrated. I don't think he's in top 3 midfielders in Serie A, to be completely honest. But I think in fact, I don't think Locatelli, if Milan were to have Locatelli, if Inter were to have Locatelli, I don't think he'd start. I don't think he would start Locatelli. I think he works for Juve. No, I don't think he starts at any of the other top 3. I don't think he starts for Napoli. Definitely not because of Lobotka. No. He doesn't displace Modric, and he doesn't displace Çalhanoğlu.
Yeah, fair. But could he play
for Roma?
Roma, maybe. Yes, probably. I was gonna say maybe instead of Zielinski, but it's a very different profile.
It's a different profile.
You can't have Barella, Çalhanoğlu, Locatelli.
Yeah, that's true. That's enough for this game. Of course, this victory for Cagliari marked only their 2nd win over Juve in 15 years. So that's exceptional motivation for Cagliari to continue to separate themselves from relegation. Juve take a bit of a hit as they're now 3 points behind Roma, who are in 4th place. So Juve are in 5th on 39 points, while Cagliari find themselves in 15th on 22 points. That is 5 points ahead of Lecce and Fiorentina.
Yes, so we can move on to Napoli-Sassuolo, the game which saw Napoli winning 1-0, and this game actually came with quite a lot of pressure for Napoli because Conte's side arrived after 3 straight league draws, something they actually hadn't done all season. They had slipped 6 points behind Inter and they needed a response, especially at the Maradona where stakes are always high. Historically, Napoli have actually dominated this fixture in Campania. They have 9 wins from 12 home meetings, and Sassuolo haven't beaten Napoli home or away since November 2020. Now, Napoli were actually stretched thin. This has been the theme all season, and I want to talk about it because we saw another 2 players going off injured this game. At the start, going into the game, Lukaku, De Bruyne, Anguissa, David Neres, Gilmour, and Meret were all out. While Conte was also serving a touchline ban, watching from the stands. This actually forced Vergara's first Serie A start, just a day after his 23rd birthday.
Insane.
And once again, there was limited rotation out of necessity, while fatigue was clearly a concern because they did look tired. Sassuolo, of course, weren't in great shape either. They have no Berardi, they're missing Thordsvet, Boloca, Pierangelo, Kande, and Volpato. So Napoli started in a 3-4-2-1 formation with Milinkovic-Savic in goal, Beukema, Rahmani and Juan Jesus at the back, Di Lorenzo and Spinazzola out wide with Lobotka and McTominay in the middle, Vergara and Elmas playing off the shoulders of Højlund. For Sassuolo, it was Muric in goal in the 4-3-3 formation with Doig, Muharremovic, Itzes and Valukovic at the back, Vranks, Matic and Lipani in midfield with Loriente on the left, Fadera on the right and Pinamonti up front.
I just want to remind listeners that Napoli were coming off a very disappointing midweek draw to Parma. I know I mentioned it earlier, but it's good to keep in mind.
Agreed. Napoli started really fast and they scored very early on. I believe it was the 7th minute. Elmas shot from an angle, Muric parried it, and Stanislav Lobotka volleyed the rebound into the roof of the net with his instep first time. It was actually quite an aesthetically pleasing goal.
Yes.
And it's his first Serie A goal in over 3 years, last scoring back in August 2022.
Madonna.
Yeah, now Napoli actually had chances to kill the game. Di Lorenzo had a header, he headed over. Højlund narrowly missed a near post finish, something he tends to do every single game. He gets close, that driven shot that just goes just wide. McTominay inched wide from distance and Sassuolo managed to stay alive. Laurienté forced Vanya into a great save. Lipani tested Milinkovic-Savic twice, and the late pressure actually caused Napoli quite a lot of nerves. The bigger picture, I think, from the story, the 3 points were all well and good, and Napoli actually did very well to score early and to hold on, considering everything happening, you know, all the context with multiple competitions, the manager not on the touchline, all those injuries. But I think what we need to talk about right now, bro, is Elmas went off with a head injury. Rahmani pulled up with a thigh injury, and Politano was substituted, and he went off clutching his hamstring, and all substitutions were used up by the 68th minute, so Politano actually had to stay on as an extra body while clutching his hamstring. Do you think that this is a case of misfortune, or is this Conte's training regime when you have many games? I don't know.
I mean, I think when there's a pattern, you need to take note of it. Clearly something is causing this. Napoli aren't playing more fixtures than anyone else, and I don't think they particularly have a more injury-prone team than anyone else. I mean, you look at the injuries that they have. Okay, De Bruyne is quite injury-prone. Anguissa isn't. Gilmore isn't. Lukaku doesn't tend to be injury-prone either. So it could be that every time they walk into the training ground, it's essentially World War One. It just simply has to be a factor. We've all seen clips of Conte running his training. Now it works, it's effective, but when you ask for 110% from people, you're gonna get more efforts, you're gonna get more results. You're also running them to the absolute ground. So it doesn't surprise me that this is the team that is picking up the most injuries at this point.
Yeah. I actually want to look into it a little bit to see if there are any stats on this, or if any articles have been written about Conte and injuries when finally qualifying for European competition. Because it is uncanny. The injuries are quite serious, and you can tell these people are drilled quite intensely, and they have spoken out, right? They said match day is the day we rest. It's the day we enjoy, because training is so intense, of course.
And now tonight they need to play against Copenhagen.
That's tonight as well.
That's tonight. Well, is it tonight? Is today yes, it's today. They're away to Copenhagen. They currently find themselves in 24th place, which puts them in the playoffs. So they basically have to win this game. It's a must win. It's a depleted squad, and it's Conte in the Champions League.
Yeah.
I'll bet money that they won't win and that they're gonna focus on Serie A.
Probably. But I don't think that would go down very well with the fans, to be honest. They have enough to compete on all fronts, I believe. Granted, the injuries suck, but of course, they still have enough. For example, the game against Parma. Why does Lorenzo Lucca get 5 minutes in that game?
He's being forced out. No,
he's being
Lucca,
forced out, yes, but you're
he's
bringing
going
him on
to
anyway.
Nottingham Forest,
You're bringing him on anyway. Your players are exhausted. Fuck it, and apparently he might not even want to go to Forest.
I mean,
but yeah,
their owner is a maniac.
Yeah.
So who the hell would want to go to them? Love Nottingham Forest, by the way.
Yeah, our
Genuinely.
dad supports Nottingham Forest. Of course, Napoli, they, despite all this, they still pressed aggressively early on. You have Vergara stepping up alongside Højlund. They kind of press in like a weird 4-4-2. With Di Lorenzo and Spinazzola pushing high to block Sassuolo's outlets. It worked early, but the intensity, of course, dropped when fatigue set in, of course. Sassuolo's best moments came down their left, with Doig pushing high, Laurienté attacking space, and Di Lorenzo forced to stay deeper. This actually did limit Napoli's width going forward. And of course, despite the win, I think it was quite concerning how little Napoli created, especially when it comes to quality chances. They had 11 shots, despite the dominance, quite frankly, and only very few clear chances from open play, to be honest with you. Just some more honorable mentions, brother. Milinkovic-Savic, of course, great player. We don't need to mention him. He's a titan in goal. Where does he rank? Goalkeeper. I've always found it very difficult, bro, to rank goalkeepers personally. You know, because obviously the keepers at lower teams concede more shots, so they have the opportunity to look better, but they also have the opportunity to make more mistakes.
But Vanya, we've seen him at Torino. We've seen him at Napoli.
Yes.
I think Vanya would be definitely top 5 in
Top 5
Serie A.
for sure,
Top 5 for sure. I think
Is he
there's
top
an
3?
argument for top 3. And I think the problem with Vanya is Vanya does the impossible. The way you see him save something that is going right into the top corner, and you see him save it without moving a muscle, and great with the ball at his feet. Consistent shot stopper, but he does get moments where it's like soft goalkeeping. Like there was a moment in this game, I can't remember who made the last ditch block to avoid a rebound.
Juan Jesus, man.
Juan Jesus.
He was incredible. He's my next talking point.
Excellent block.
What
Because
player he's
Vanya, when he saved, he kept the ball in play. He didn't parry it out.
He parried it forward.
And
Exactly.
He parried it forward.
Exactly.
So he has a few of these. Sometimes he gets down a bit too slow and he concedes. He's not on the level of Mike, and he's not on the level of Svilar. But
Mike has soft moments as well.
Mike has. That's a fair point. But I think, regardless, I think it goes Mike, Svilar, and then it goes Vanya. Those are the top 3. Vanya's third.
Maybe with Carnesecchi fourth, if not third. I don't know.
God, I forgot Carnesecchi.
Carnesecchi's excellent, man.
I think it goes Mike, Svilar, Carnesecchi, Vanya.
I don't know. What I do know though, if you have to look at the ball playing ability, it goes probably Mike, Vanya, but Vanya, man.
I think it goes Vanya, Mike.
The way he kicks it, the way he hoofs it upfield. Mike doesn't do it as
quarterback
as powerfully, but his ball playing ability, Mike is top tier, of course.
Yes, but if you give him a free kick from just outside the area, who do you want?
Fair enough. Yes. If we're on pens, it's definitely Milinkovic.
No, he's a skilled footballer.
Yes.
He's just full stop.
Yeah. Fucking hell, man, Juan Jesus, what a player he's become. Who would have thought? He was a meme at one point when he was at Roma. Everyone would take the piss out of him. He was one of those players that was constantly scapegoated. Now he's a real leader in this Napoli backline, and he's someone that they can count on, because it's always the case that someone's out.
Yes, and it's Rahmani syndrome, I call it. You've ever
Rahmani syndrome.
You just stick around, and you stick around long enough. Fuck me, you might just become the best one. You know what I mean? Or you might start to be rated. Rahmani was always, it's Koulibaly and Rahmani, Kim Min-jae and Rahmani.
Yeah.
Then Rahmani steps up and it's fucking it's Rahmani and Beukemar, Rahmani and Buongiorno. He's the staple. Juan Jesus has stayed around long enough. He's ran his mouth as a Napolitan now for so long that the fans are behind him. But Conte has done something with him, with Juan Jesus, because he's the next Rahmani.
Yeah.
He's the next one that now, when there's injuries to the likes of Rahmani, Buongiorno and Beukemar, it seems like they're never really 100%. I'm sure Napoli aren't remotely concerned about Juan Jesus starting.
Yeah, not at all. They're probably like, okay, it's Juan at the back.
He's
experienced.
He's the only.
He is the only Juan.
He's the only Juan Jesus we need. But he's experienced. He's a handful,
and he's been around for so long in the league. I mean, he was at Roma previously. I'm pretty sure he was elsewhere. I can't quite remember right now if you want to check that. But
Inter, no?
Juan Jesus was at Inter, I think so.
Yes, he was. He was, surely.
Yeah. Just while you look that up, I'm going to move on to Sassuolo and just gently remind everyone that they haven't won since early December. and they haven't scored for 3 games straight.
Jeez.
Those 3 games, though, were Juve, Roma, and Napoli. So, granted, right now, they have had a tough run-in. They've dipped a little bit, but you can tell, watching them, this is still a quality side that can cause a lot of problems, and they're well led, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. Where do they stand in the table? Just to confirm, by the way, yes, it did go. He was at Internazionale in Brazil, went to Inter in Italy, went to Roma, and now is at Napoli.
Okay, very good. So, yes, I would love for Berardi to come back.
Hey, miss you so much, Mimmo.
Miss him, straight up.
Bro.
They have so many nice players, but Berardi is obviously different gravy. So yes, Sassuolo are in 11th with 23 points, while Napoli are in 3rd with 43 points.
Apologies, guys. Nick just vomited. Lazio 0, Como 3.
Monday night mayhem.
Beautiful. Love Island on one TV, Lazio Como on the other.
Are you watching Love Island?
Love Island All Stars. Yes.
How is it?
It brings me and my woman closer.
Yes.
Yes. It also gives me motivation to work out.
And it makes you feel really intelligent.
No, it's fun.
Yeah.
You know.
I've watched Love Island before. The Maltese one, to be honest.
The Maltese one is gold.
The Maltese one is amazing because you're watching and people walk out onto the screen and you actually know them.
Yes,
it's mental. It's
fucking crazy.
mental.
Someone from our school.
Big Brother was the craziest.
Big Brother was great. Maltese TV in general is just
it's a fever
fucking
dream.
elite.
Yeah.
It's elite, bro. Come dine with me is awesome. Master Chef is ridiculous.
Master Chef is crazy good as well.
So many good Maltese shows.
Really good.
Licorice. But anyway, Lazio 0, Como 3. It was on the main TV. Lazio coming off a well-needed narrow victory over Verona thanks to a Nelson own goal. Here they were missing Patrick, Gigot, Vesino, Dia and Basic. Como, they were coming off a midweek loss to Milan, but they played really well. They are steady in 6th place at this point with Juve next in sight for them. They missed Morata, Adai, Diao and Goldaniga. The previous encounter between these two sides was a 2-0 victory for Como, and if I'm not mistaken, that was one of the first matches of the season, either Matchday 1 or Matchday 2. Sarri's men lined up in a 4-3-3 with Provedel in goal, a backline of Pellegrini, Romagnoli, Hila and Marusic, midfield 3 of Taylor, Cataldi and Belayan. God.
Oh God. Indeed.
The front 3 of Zaccagni and Cancelleri flanking Ratkov, making his first start for Lazio. For Como, for Fabregas' men, it was a 4-3-2-1 formation. Bute in goal, backline of Smolcic, Ramon, Carlos and Valle. Perrone, D'Acunha and Caqueret formed a midfield 3, which we haven't often seen, with J. Rodriguez, I call him J. Rodriguez, I just don't call him Jesus Rodriguez, and Paz playing behind Baturina, who started in like this false 9 role, which means you've got Jesus Rodriguez, Nico Paz and Baturina. Who's the right winger? Who's the left winger? And who's the striker?
No one knows.
No one knows. No, you know what? It's fine. Well, Lazio defenders definitely didn't know. In the second minute, well, just 90 seconds in, really, Baturina opened the scoring, took a huge deflection of Romagnoli, good little assist from Valle, but Baturina once again on the score sheet. That's 1-0, just a minute or so in. The 24th minute, Nico Paz doubled the lead on a rebound from a Baturina cross. Once again, Baturina involved, Paz ruthless. Speaking of Paz being ruthless, he was denied from the penalty spot by Provedel, who guessed right and made a very decisive save on Nico Paz. The penalty was given away by Taylor.
Unfortunately for him.
He went to clear the ball. Someone jumped in front of him and he kicked him.
Yeah.
Smart, to be honest, and unlucky for Taylor. And this looked like it was going to shift the momentum into Lazio's favour, but that didn't last long at all. Half-time came about, and then the 49th minute, Paz completed his brace with a curling finish assisted by a Baturina Bakil, and that was in fact our goal of the week. For the remainder of the second half, Lazio pushed, but they failed to create any quality chances really. Como controlled possession and the tempo, and they took the 3 points home, no problem. Decisive scoreline, 3-0. Bro, Baturina was involved in all the goals. Fantastic link-up play and transition by him. He can beat his man and he can even have a crack. I feel like Jesus Rodriguez with this new setup was a little bit invisible, but it's more about the runs he was making off the ball and the space that he was creating, where this front three just fucking worked. Where it's the three most technically gifted players you have. No Voivoda, none of this shit. You've got Jesus Rodriguez, you've got Nico Paz, and you've got Baturina. How fucking good did these guys look, man?
They looked amazing. They looked great, man. And I mean, it just goes to show how good they are when Baturina manages to steal the show from Nico Paz at certain moments. A player who has barely featured and only really started to feature now. A player that we covered coming into the season. In fact, many of our spotheads have him on Fanta.
Yes.
But bro, I think that there was a big difference when it comes to just overall confidence, and Lazio were nervous, and you could tell.
Nervous.
The way Como were playing, it made Lazio nervous. They were like even Belayan started the game well, and you see him like, all right, he's getting involved, he's finally getting an opportunity, and he seems to be making the most of them. Poof, he's invisible. After they start scoring, everyone goes invisible. Where was Ratkov?
I don't know.
I haven't even seen Ratkov yet. I've watched him twice, and I don't know what he does. Honestly.
No, I think there isn't a massive difference to how Como played this game versus the game they played against Milan. And I think this is what Fabregas meant, but this is exactly why Fabregas is wrong, because it depends on the team you're facing. And
Milan are mentality monsters,
exactly,
right?
They faced mentality monsters, and then they faced an injury-ridden team like Lazio, who had a transfer ban, and instead of signing players, okay, they signed two guys barely anyone's ever heard of in Ratkov and in, not to take anything away from them, in Ratkov and Taylor, who can be good for them. But just a completely different story. So I'm going to give praise to Como. Then I'm going to jump to Lazio. So I'm going to say, fantastic stuff by Baturina. He has landed and he needs to start every single game from here on out, in my opinion. Paz, we saw a different side to him. We saw a Paz that missed a penalty after scoring. He came back and he scored again. So it's always good because we see young players who have the potential of being world class and doing great stuff. But how often do you see them get back after falling, getting back up after they fall? Paz did that. Wasn't a great penalty. Providel saved it brilliantly though. Came back and scored an amazing goal. Shout out to the rapid vertical play by Como. 1 second they're defending. I only see Inter do that in the league. 1 second they're defending and then they're clean through on goal immediately. And this victory completes the season's double against Lazio for Como, marking the first Roman away win for Como since 1952.
Whoa.
1952. On to Lazio a little bit, unless there's something you want to say about Como, bro.
No. Just when it works for these guys, it works, and I think they can take it to any team, right?
Yes.
And it must be said that the Como Milan game, of course, Milan did ride their luck. I mean, Magnan was unplayable.
Magnan was unplayable.
He was super. Rabiot, exactly. Rabiot is the type of player that Lazio lacked this game. Lazio have a leader in Zaccagni, who you don't see when it gets tough. He had one moment he forced a save from Boutte, and Cataldi had a shot, but no one actually shoulders the responsibility and carries the team on their backs, like to the extent that Rabiot did. Rabiot, man, by the end of the game, he had his hair down. He looked like a lion, he was feeling himself so much, man.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a difference in mentality. Yeah,
and it's funny you say they missed a Rabiot. They had a Rabiot. His name was Guendouzi. Literally a Rabiot, but whatever. Sarri is frustrated, and I don't think Sarri makes it to the end of the season, and it'll be his decision. Sarri won't stay till the end of the season. Sarri, from the reading I've done, he's obviously unhappy with the transfer business. So for the pre-context, he didn't know Lazio had a transfer ban when Lazio signed him. Lotito dropped that ball on him. He was going to resign, and then Lotito convinced him to stay, long story short. But now, Lazio, it's being rumoured that they might let go of Alessio Romagnoli. A guy that for me is their future captain.
That would be terrible
And
because
their
Hila
most
wants out.
consistent defender.
Yeah.
Hila is almost out of contract. Romagnoli is their guy at the back. Listen to this, bro. He's apparently been offered to Al Sadd. Alright?
I haven't even heard of Al Sadd.
Not Al Happy. Al Sadd. Romagnoli, listen to this by Lotito. How absolutely embarrassing. How embarrassingly this club is run. Romagnoli was promised a pay rise if Lazio got Champions League qualification. This was in 2022-2023. Not only did Lazio get Champions League qualification, they were the closest team to Napoli that season, who ran away with it.
Yeah.
They came in second. Apparently, Romagnoli hasn't received his money. The promise wasn't fulfilled.
And not the first time we've heard this, because Luis Alberto once said that they have a nice new plane for us, but I haven't received my salary. Exactly. The promise was never honoured, and now his entourage has offered him to Al Sadd. Yeah.
Okay? And Sarri has gone so far, similarly to Glasner with Crystal Palace, to say, guys, if Romagnoli is gone, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to tell you. But I'll need to leave as well. That's Guendouzi. That's fucking Tati Castellanos and Romagnoli that will leave in January after you've had a summer of not being able to sign players. I sympathize, whatever, with all the Lazio fans in the world.
Yeah. And David,
this is disgusting, man.
Yeah, David commented on our last video and he said, us Lazio fans, we love Sarri, but we can't stand Lotito.
Of
and
course.
No shit, Lotito is overstaying his welcome and running the club to the ground. And brother, we know exactly what it feels like to have a president who just doesn't want to let go and thinks he isn't. Not thinks he is, because a president he's an owner of a club is entitled to be the owner, but you need to accept that you're either going to be a good top tier owner who is beneficial for the club, or you are going to hold the club back. And Berlusconi went from building, for example, one of the dynasties of European football, of world football, to fucking almost ruining the club.
Exactly.
You know? And same can be said about Lotito. He hit this amazing high where he had amazing players, respectable, playing nice football, regulars in Europe. But now it's a shit show. Now it's a disaster.
It's a disaster, bro.
It's a disaster. And yes, Lotito vendere vattene, and he's provocative. He's provocative. He's
an asshole.
People. He doesn't give a shit. He'll smile in your face. Everyone's shouting at him. He's smiling at them. He doesn't give a fuck. And now they asked Sarri about the market, and he went. I'm not sure if you said this already. He said, "I stepped aside." Lotito decides.
Listen to this. Sarri claimed he doesn't know who Ratkov is. But listen to this. Fabiani, their sporting director, went, this guy loves to joke. You scouted him with your team, Sarri. So does Sarri have like brain fog, or like who's say? This guy Fabiani said that Sarri claimed he didn't know who Ratkov was to like encourage Ratkov kind of thing. It didn't really work because he got 14 touches against Como.
Invisible.
But it's just a mess at the moment at Lazio. And guys, if you have a mess at the top, it will always show on the pitch, because this isn't the Lazio that we know and the Lazio that we love. And I'm not even reminiscing on the quality players. I'm reminiscing on earlier this season, where they looked like a fucking team, even though they were spare parts, when Basic was rocking the midfield along with Guendouzi and Cataldi. You know what I mean? But it's a nightmare. Whistles at full time. You concede the second goal and you're being whistled by your own fans. The crowd sees it. The players feel it. It's a messy. It's a mess.
Yeah, and there's just a back and forth between Lotito and Sarri going off in the media. I think Lotito needs to be careful because he doesn't deserve Sarri right now.
No. Sarri will leave, bro. I'm sure of it.
The president said the objective is to reach Europe. Perhaps he was talking about a multi-year objective. He never asked me for Europe. This season, the European places are a mirage. It was and still is a season of construction, Sarri said. The fans' love gives me energy and also frustration. Right now, we're struggling to give them satisfaction, and I'm sorry. You can't help but feel for the guy. I'm sorry, Sarri. I'm sorry, Lazio. I'm sorry, David.
Said I'm sorry. Never meant to hurt you. No, this is Lotito singing. He's cleaning out the fucking locker room.
He's cleaning out the
letting
closet.
Everyone go. If Romagnoli leaves, it's a fucking shabak. Especially because it seems like every time we read out the unavailable players, it's fucking Patrick and Gigot.
Ah, yes, Gigot. Where is Gigot?
Injured.
Still.
He's been injured, bro. From match day 1, we've been saying he's benched. He's not called up because of injury.
I like Gigot.
He has balls.
He has great. He scored
doesn't
that one
go
goal.
Much further than that.
And no, he's a gladiator. Eh?
Exactly.
Yeah,
like me.
Flat track kind of bully kind of guy.
All
right.
I think that's enough about this game.
We should stop moaning about Lazio.
But what else can we do? Praise them? Are we really going to praise them? They lost 3-0. They got outplayed. Yes. But that's the difference. Fabregas. Lazio find themselves in 9th on 28 points. Whereas Como find themselves in 6th on 37 points. Again, man, they're just 2 points behind Juve.
Yeah.
Amazing. And 5 points ahead of Atalanta.
Speaking of, Atalanta actually travelled to Pisa. And
to get a Pisa Gilardino.
To get a Pisa Dorossomi's ass, or whatever his name is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What's his name?
Do Re Mi Fa So
Serving. Let's call him that. Do Re Mi Fa So.
Yes.
Pisa earned a late and fully deserved draw against Atalanta at the Arena Garibaldi.
Nice
man. Name, no?
You know who Garibaldi is from the board game we play.
Nice. Yeah, and the book. Calcio.
Wait. Garibaldi was the character from...
Yes, but there's some history. We'll get into it another time. Yes, so this was okay. So Pisa had not beaten Atalanta and still haven't beaten Atalanta actually at home since 1981. So that would have been a sensational result had Pisa managed to get the victory over here. But of course, it was not meant to be because Pisa, it seems that they have this curse. You know how in AFCON in the final. Poor Brahim, by the way.
Oh my God!
I couldn't even watch that.
Oh my God!
In the final, there's been this whole thing with Senegal. The entire. Imagine that you haven't won a trophy in 50 years in Panenka, and you're new to the nation.
Did you? That's
the thing because
that's
you.
It.
Yeah. That's the worst part.
Schwaref did that for Malta, bro. God, I don't even want to talk about what I think I'd do.
Yeah. You know the whole thing with the towels.
Yes, how funny, bro.
They actually, everyone believes in voodoo.
Yes.
Actually, and it's not like players actually fight ball boys to get their hands on this towel and to move it. I'm not sure why I'm mentioning this. I had some connection, some link to this game.
You mentioned Brahim for some reason.
Like I can't remember. God knows I have ADHD. Pisa lined up with Scuffe in goal, Calabresi, Cannestrelli and Coppola at the back, the CCC, in a 3-4-2-1 with Touré on the right, Angori on the left, Marin and Abusher in the middle, Moreo and Tramoni playing behind Meister. Now I actually remembered why I mentioned that, because I said I was going to say that Pisa have some voodoo against them. Because of the amount of chances they fuck up. And the chances they fuck up is like Abusher is clean through, and suddenly his brain switches off, and he's waiting for the pass.
Waiting for Meister to make a run. And then Meister looked bad, because he missed 2 sitters.
To be fair, the ball was deflected, but he should have definitely done better. Yes, it was a 3-4-2-1 for Atalanta in my extremely smooth lineup read. Carnesecchi was in goal, baller. Ahanor, Hien and Scalvini at the back with Bernasconi on the left, Musa on the right, Pasalic and Derun in the middle with Zalewski and De Ketelaere playing off the shoulders of Scamacca. Now Pisa started brightly and they imposed themselves early. They were pressing high and winning a series of corners, and they were very, very intense despite having just one win in 20 Serie A matches. They are very competitive at home, and coming into this game, however, they were the lowest scoring home side in the league. And they actually had gone 375 minutes without a goal at the Arena Garibaldi.
Jeez.
A drought that made Dorosinmi's equalizer feel even more significant, of course. Atalanta struggled to match Pisa's aggression in the first half, despite being one of the league's most dangerous teams in the first half, Atalanta, with 7 goals scored in the final 15 minutes before the break of the season. Pisa, by contrast, are amongst the sides who have conceded the most in that exact same period, yet they managed to make half-time level in terms of level in the score, and thanks to their organisation and the aerial dominance from the likes of Toure and Canestrelli, both amongst Serie A's top performers in the aerial duels, won stats. After the break, Atalanta did grow into the match. They controlled possession, they lowered the tempo a little bit, they started passing the ball around and kind of respecting the opponent a bit, staying off. And Palladino's substitutions once again made the difference, as we have seen lately, and it was in the 83rd minute that Nikola Kristovic reacted the fastest in the box to score what looked like a decisive goal at the time. And no, okay, I don't need to read that. Pisa refused to unfold. 4 minutes later, substitute Durosinmi. Help me. Durosinmi. Durosinmi rose superbly to power home a header, and what a header it was. That's literally a diving header by textbook definition, wrapping his body around the defender like a fucking snake, dude.
Like a flittering snake, man. Gorgeous.
He ended Pisa's long home scoring drought against Atalanta and earned the point for the performance. It was a reminder as to how physical Pisa can be. They are so powerful. They have so many strong players as well. I was so happy seeing Gilardino celebrating as well. It meant so much to him. And the closing stages were actually chaotic as Pisa were pushing for a winner and Atalanta were focusing on protecting the draw. And in the end, the 1-1 perhaps was a little bit harsh on Pisa, but I would call this a deserved draw.
A deserved draw, and I mean, if Pisa had some more refined players or some experienced Serie A players, and they could be turning these games, these draws, into wins, man. The football that Pisa play, it is good football. They are a difficult team to play against. You see them against Atalanta that are flying at the moment, that are shooting up under a new manager, fighting for a European spot.
Yeah.
But they're interrupted by a Pisa who didn't sit back like Cagliari.
Yeah.
They didn't sit back like any of these other guys. They played their own game. They took the game to Atalanta. I think they had better quality chances than
they
Atalanta.
had big misses.
Like you mentioned with Abisher.
Bro, I didn't even mention that Carnesecchi, this game, kept them in. It was thanks to Carnesecchi that Atalanta didn't lose this game. His saves were astronomical, man. Fantastic reflex saves. Fucking diving, flying around, man. Looking like the guy from The Lonely Island. He is amazing, man. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
What's
the
his
guy
name?
from Brooklyn, Adam Sambert.
Adam
and
Sambert.
Andy Samberg.
Nick, can you pull up Andy Samberg and
Carnesecchi next to each other?
Thank you, brother.
This is why we pod, bro.
This is why we pod, is to make these comparisons.
But don't you see, they bring in their most expensive signing ever in Durosinmi. Okay, none of us ever heard of him, but instant impact.
He is their most expensive signing ever, literally. That's crazy, eh? And instant impact from him, that's great. Maybe now finally we can move away from the likes of Nzola and Meister. Granted, Meister hasn't been bad, poor guy, but he's so unlucky in front of goal.
He is unlucky. and he's a bit clumsy as
He is
well.
clumsy, yeah.
I mean, they've got 2 target men, hold-up strikers in Zola and Meister. Maybe this guy can offer something a little bit different from what I've seen, which is literally just this goal. That's the only snippet I have of this guy. He really attacks the fucking ball.
does,
and
he
if
does,
you
he
score a flying header, you have my heart. Those are my favorite
Yeah.
goals in the world.
Yeah, Rafiu Durosinmi. His full name is Rafiu Adekunle Durosinmi. He was born on the 1st of January. Fucking hell.
Jesus.
Fucking hell.
Okay.
Definitely the biggest boy
Interesting.
in his squad. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause that's there was an actual study on this, that people born towards the beginning of the year have an advantage when it comes to sports because they hit their growth spurts earlier on.
Makes
And,
sense.
yeah,
eh?
yeah.
It makes sense.
And of course in sports, if you're bigger, you're preferred by coaches and you're given more attention.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he is
Preferred by the
a
ladies as well.
6'4" Nigerian who started his youth career with a team called Box to Box FC.
Fuck yes.
And then moved on to Carvina before playing for Victoria Pilsen. He went out on loan originally in 2023, scoring 4 goals in 15 games. Eventually, they redeemed him from 2023 until 2026, where he played 45 games and scored 19 goals. And now he's at Pisa, where he's done 1-1.
Good signing, man.
Yes, he is known for his combined height, strength, as well as technical ability. So I'm very excited to see more of this guy. Sounds like a player I would love.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone
Yes.
over 6'2" and strong, please.
What do you pin this on for Atalanta? Eh? How do you go to Pisa's home and kind of concede so many chances, etc., etc.? Do you think it was a problem of balance in the team? Maybe. Do you think Pisa went man for man and just outdid them physically?
Yes. I think physicality was a huge difference in this game. I think even if you look at, for example, Atalanta's double pivot of Deron and Pasalic, they're both not the quickest, they're not the strongest, their qualities are more on the ball. Off the ball, that's where they struggle a little bit more. And I think that's where they found a lot of success, was they were able of dominating that midfield. And they were just breaking through, man. On the counter, of course, in a game like this, Atalanta are going to have more of the ball. They're going to look to attack more. In fact, yes, Atalanta had 57% ball possession. That opens up the opportunity for Pisa to hit on the break. And of course, Pisa have very physical players. I mean, they've got Toure on the right. Angori is quite a runner on the left as well. And then Morea and Tramoni. But again, it's less about the players and more about the way Gilardino set this team up. Eh?
Yeah.
Man to man, ready
I
for
love
the
that,
counter,
man to
ready
man,
to attack
literally,
the spaces. And this is the thing about Pisa. They rarely ever just defend.
Yeah.
You know, they're always looking to bring the game to their opponents.
It's true. They always have
in
some
a-
kind of plan going forward.
It's
Absolutely right.
balanced. It's not like they're not like Venezia of last season, and they're not like
Lecce this season.
Lecce this season.
Yeah. Straight up.
Oh God, the storm is fucking hitting.
You're hearing
yeah.
Harry
I'm
outside
hearing Harry.
holding me back. So yes, by the way, shout out to De Ketelare, who slips past players like a slimy worm sometimes. How good he is, man. You saw that moment where he took the ball to the byline and oof.
Yes, bro.
Yeah,
He's
really,
like
really nice player.
He's been dipped in butter.
Literally
Like that.
greased up like Adama Traore.
Exactly.
Yes.
Where
So
do they stand, my king?
that is it for this. Yes, I believe there's nothing else I would like to mention.
Shout out Gilardino, man.
Shout out, man.
Give this guy a better team.
So Pisa, right? Thank you. Give them a
Jeez,
better
man.
team. Give him a better team.
I low-key dream of him joining Milan. I'm not even taking the piss.
Take it
I
easy.
think
First we need to have.
I think he should be a candidate for Fiorentina starting next season.
in Serie B. Nah, they're already out of there. They're out and they won't look back now.
I think so.
So Pisa are in 19th with 14 points. That's 3 points of safety. While Atalanta are in 7th with 32 points. While Como are 6th with 37 points. So there's a bit of distance over there.
Yes,
Atalanta need to make up some ground.
Exactly. We're jumping to Bologna 1, Fiorentina 2. Before we get into the game, of course, we want to offer our condolences to any person affiliated with Fiorentina or with former president and owner Rocco Commisso. Rocco Commisso was a person who brought good success to Fiorentina after joining in 2019, got them to a number of finals. Things are a bit different this season. Whether or not it's a coincidence that he was taking a step aside this season, I don't know. But footballing aside, I really want to offer sincere condolences, particularly to Fiorentina, their fan base, their staff, the players, and everyone involved, because over the past few years, it has actually been devastating the amount of bad situations that Fiorentina found themselves in. This year it was Rocco Commisso, it was Joe Barone last season as well. There was, of course, what happened with Bove when he collapsed on the pitch. There was their captain Astori back in the day,
Died in a hotel room.
who died in a hotel
with
room.
The team there.
With the team there, with Pioli as coach,
Yeah.
with Saponara writing a heartfelt message for him.
Madonna.
It's crazy, and what has happened over the years to this team, and it feels like there's something against them. But when there's something against you like that, man, that's when you have to be united as a city. It's when you have to be united as a team. And I love Fiorentina, man. I love Fiorentina. Fiorentina have been through disasters. They always seem to make their way back out of it. Never to the full potential that they have. Never to the heights that I think they can achieve as a historic football club. But this was a great result for them, and it would make Rocco Commisso proud. This was the Derby dell'Appennino. For those that don't know, the previous encounter between these two sides was a 2-2 draw. This was, of course, an away win for Fiorentina. Bologna continued their free fall down the table after their third loss in 6 games. They had just beaten Verona midweek, their first win of the season since 22nd of November. Yes, it was midweek, correct. Yes, against Verona. They missed Bernardeschi and Lukumi, whilst Vitic was injured in the warm-up. For Fiorentina, this was a huge win. They were coming off 2 draws against Lazio and Milan. They are finally out of the relegation zone, still level on points with 18th place, but at least they're out of the bottom 3. Fiorentina delayed debut starts for Manor Solomon and Marco Brescianini, and they missed Lamptey, Dzeko, Sabiri and Moise Kean. It was a 4-2-3-1 formation for Italiano's men. Ravaglia in goal, backline of Miranda, Hegem, Casale and Home, double pivot of Freuler and Pobega, Cambiaghi on the left, Orsolini on the right, Odgaard behind Castro. 4-3-3 for Fiorentina. De Gea in goal, who didn't have what's-his-face on the bench because he was suspended. Vanoli.
No.
Their assistant manager was on the bench.
Cavalletto.
Yes.
Daniele Cavalletto.
David De Gea in goal, backline of Dodò, Comuzzo, Pongracic and Gosens. Pardon me.
This is a new one.
I said, am I going to burp in my mouth and everyone's going to think, whoa, that guy was on the verge of vomiting.
You're lucky that didn't happen earlier, what you were saying earlier.
It's true. I'm offering my sincere... Could have been bad. Mandragora, Fagioli and Ndour in midfield, Parisi on the right, Goodmanson on the left, Piccoli as the lone striker. Fiorentina started sharply, exploiting the wings and winning duels. Ndour had a goal after a great counter between Dodò and Parisi down the right. Square ball, Ndour finishes brilliantly, but Parisi was marginally offside. But in the 19th minute, Albert Goodmanson delivered a cross for Mandragora, who tapped in from 6 yards. An emotional celebration with Commisso's name on his shirt. It said Rocco on his shirt, grabs it, gives it a kiss. That is his 6th goal of the season. He's Fiorentina's top scorer. Bologna pushed after their goal, but Fiorentina's defence handled it well. Comuzza and Pongracic in particular were very sound defensively. Not Mari, but they are playing a 4 at the back, not a 3. Sometimes less is more, man. In first half stoppage, Dodò controlled an opposition corner. So the opposition, they crossed the ball in. No one gets to it. But he's there, Dodò. Fucking controls the ball. Takes it down. Coolly inside his own box. And he just fucking sprints, bro. On the
first.
ball. 1-2 sprints. I think he had another 1-2 somewhere.
I think it was 1, but I'm not sure.
Great link. What a counter-attack led by Dodò, bro.
He was running like a rabid duck.
Darts down. Yes. He gave a low cross in. Something happened to Freuler. I
think his controller turned off.
I think his controller turned off. And he's just running. At no point did he register that the ball is at his feet. Because he kind of runs over the ball. The ball goes up. And then with his right leg, he gives Piccoli an open
And
net.
he's looking the wrong way to where the ball is going. So he got totally confused.
He got confused in his own feet. The ball was there. Long story short, easiest goal Piccoli will score in his career. Italiano made 4 substitutions at halftime. He brought out Freuler for Moro, Orsolini for Jonathan Rowe, Home for Zortea, Odgaard for Fabian. Obviously good to mention they had a midweek game, so some of these guys were gassed. Fiorentina controlled the pace in the second half. They absorbed some of Bologna's attempts while threatening on the break. Pongracic, in fact, nearly scored a third. He tried to dink it over the keeper, which he has in his locker. In the 85th minute, Rowe hit the post. He did quite well to create a chance for himself.
Did a slow-mo 360 move.
Yes.
Like slow-mo skill moves.
Yeah. He has a few good moves in him.
He does.
Rowe.
He has potential, but
there's potential. I'm afraid they won't give him the right amount of time. In the 88th minute, Fagioli lost possession in midfield. Rowe crossed, and Fabian, to be fair to him, brilliant header,
Great header
by Fabian at the far post. Only a consolation goal. Bologna pressed towards the end, but Fiorentina held on well. Number one thing I want to comment on immediately is the fact that Fiorentina held a win, held on to their lead, is almost as important as their 3 points psychologically, man, against a Bologna that smell blood and can attack, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think this game they had extra motivation that goes beyond football. And sometimes it can be hard to pick yourself up after having started the season so poorly, unless you have to do it for someone. You know, this was a non-negotiable. You know, we've lost the owner of this team, a person who was very hands-on, who we know apparently Rocco Commisso had been unwell for a while and receiving treatment for a while, so probably they'd known. You know, the club seemed abandoned, and there was a reason for that. I think something tragic like this gives the players some kind of like responsibility. I can't do anything to fix this, but I can help it. It's by like giving my all. And finally we saw these players playing with grinta, man. With some balls, man.
Isn't that when we started to see the Bologna we know and love today?
Yes, when Mihailovic
after
passed.
They lost Mihailovic. So I think it's Commisso will be hoping in his afterlife, whatever the hell happens there, that at least if he's going to pass, he can instill motivation into this team, and this team can carry his spirit and get results like that. I wonder if it's like this emotional motivation, or if it is literally a Fiorentina, however, that have been improving game by game. This is in the last 5 games. I think they lost 1. Yeah, aside from that, it's draws and victories, which is super important for them.
The one
obviously.
loss they have in the past 5 was against Parma. Since then they've beaten Udinese, Cremonese, drawn to Lazio and Milan, and now they've beaten Bologna. Yes, they're on the up.
And like against Lazio and against Milan, great performances. It's not like they lucked out there. They're playing like a top 7 team in the past few games, and I think it goes down to something that I've been saying every single episode. They're stretching the opposition now. They are finally using the wings. Where it was always so narrow. They were just using the wing backs in Dodo and Gosens, which sure, but they're not.
Gosens was
wingers.
out. It wasn't even Gosens.
Gosens was out for a while.
Yeah, it was. What's his name? Fortini playing for quite a few games.
You're hearing this shit outside.
I don't think
bro.
It gets caught on the microphone. It did really.
I'm gonna get caught in my car, bro. Like getting home is gonna be a disaster
for sure.
So I think
send me a message when you are home.
How Maltese. He's taking the piss. He literally told me to do that a couple of days ago. Friday night after an FM night.
Because we drove through a flood. Your car literally, I think at one point floated.
Literally. But yes, I think the wide play, even playing, they don't have a proper right winger. Pop Parisi in there. He's being useful, you know.
Yeah.
He's more useful as a right winger than he is as a left back. I'll tell you that much. But Dodo, bro, Dodo on the counter is holy fuck. Like the last because I've seen one player counter in that way before, and it was Theo in this league. Let's say in the past few years. His ability to run with the ball and to lead counter-attacks like that is ridiculous. I think
there are three.
He's made for Inter, bro, this guy.
There are
Dodo
three
is made
top
for
ones
Inter.
right now. Right backs or right wing backs. There's Dodo, there's Wesley, and there's Salamakers. Rank them.
Oh. Dodo, Wesley, and Sally.
And am I missing anyone as well? Because it's like there's
Probably Palestra.
Palestra's good, but
If we're going top three,
I picked Palestra for my team last week.
I think Dodo goes first. I think Dodo's the most well-balanced defensively and offensively. Wesley, I haven't seen enough of him yet.
He's good though, Wesley. Yeah. Wesley is very energetic and he provides quite a lot of balance, to be fair, as well.
I think balance-wise, Wesley is there as well. But I think Dodo goes first. Wesley second, Salamakers third, because Salamakers gets back and defends and he adds an extra body. Brilliant on the counter, brilliant going forward, but he's not as seasoned defensively. If you have the right cover in your team, I would rather choose Salamakers than both of these guys, you know, because he's such an asset going forward. And Milan have that. They have Tomori who goes right back. We didn't even discuss how Milan looked like a 4-4-2 all game in my opinion. With Tomori right back, but whatever, a conversation for another day. How would you rank them? Asks a question you don't answer.
That's why I ask. Why would you ask questions you know the answer to? That's philosophical.
Because they're rhetorical.
For me, I go Wesley, Sally, Dodo. Fuck it.
Oh my god.
I like Wesley. I think Wesley's been very impressive so far.
I just think he's been a bit in and out, so I haven't gotten to enjoy him fully. But anyway, shout out to Pongracic and Komutso, and to my ex, why not? Let me bring this to front. 1 second, why is this happening? Okay, so Pongracic and Komutso, I think definitely the back two to go with. I think Komutso's been playing well, and they complement each other pretty well. Stats-wise, it was... I found some of these quite impressive. So they each won 3 ground duels. They both won 1 air duel each. Komutso had 9 clearances. Pongracic had 4 clearances. They both blocked 2 strikes. Pongracic had 5 recoveries. Komutso had 1 recovery. Defensive contributions for Komutso 15, for Pongracic 7. These are some good numbers against that tricky Bologna side to play against.
When we were talking about, when we discussed Milan Fiorentina last week, we were talking about that Komutso goal, and we're talking so much about the defensive positioning and should Mike have done better, etc., etc. We didn't even talk about how good that header by Komutso was.
Yes,
he got a lot of air. And the header was violent. And you can see why, man. He's all neck.
He has good neck, too.
He's got good neck about him.
Good neck. Let me see his neck.
Look at that neck.
That's a neck, man.
That's a neck.
That's a good neck.
Good neck.
Yes, well done on your neck. Bologna, I mean, it wasn't just, Fiorentina performing brilliantly. Bologna have been on a free fall. They are winless in their last 7 matches, which is disastrous. Now, analytic trends indicate that Bologna often keep the ball well but are less effective at turning possession into dangerous situations. Their defense has also begun to concede more high-quality chances relative to last season. So those are 2 huge factors for them. Tactically, there have been suggestions in previews that Bologna's midfield and shape can become too conservative or flat, which makes them look timid against high-pressing opponents and leaves them vulnerable to counterattacks. So here we're talking more about the roles of the likes of Freuler and Pobega.
Pobega being a regular starter in this team. I like Pobega as a player, don't get me wrong, and I think he offers, he has good things about his game, particularly his strength, his ability to have a crack from a distance, he's just a good utility player in midfield. However, I don't think he's the type of player who should be starting week in, week out, regardless of how much Italiano does actually love him. I think we've seen, first of all, Orsolini's form taking a bit of a dip. That's number one. And Castro quietening out a bit and kind of being isolated more often than not. And in fact, a lot of the luck falls to the second striker while the striker is actually occupied. But it just goes to show that this team wasn't well equipped to come into the season, right? I mean, the depth is never ready. Immobile is never available, of course, because he's quite old and he got an injury the second he arrived. Bernardeschi, of course, was a risk coming in. Rowe is new to the league. They took quite a few risks and they worsened their squad, and this is the second time in a row that they've worsened their squad. So it's only getting worse and worse. Now, when I watch Bologna, what I notice is that they take longer to play the ball from one side to the other than they used. So they used to have these transitions where they would whip the ball from one wing to the other and focus play on one side and suddenly switch over the top really fast. That could easily get found out, and I think it's the case, and I think it's literally happened, and many teams are actually having quite a lot of luck against Bologna. Morale is very low, and the quality simply isn't there right now.
And it's these... I'm all for business moves if you have a good sporting team, a good sporting director that can reinforce areas where teams are struggling. But, for example... over the past 2 years, they've lost two defenders like Calafiori and Beukema. I think two things that showed us was how Lukumi was the one being carried in defense, and he wasn't the leader of that defense. It was Beukema and it was Calafiori. They were the brains. Lukumi was a bit more of the muscle over there, and I think we're noticing that with how error-prone Lukumi has been this season.
Yeah.
To give Lukumi the benefit of the doubt, he hasn't exactly been paired with quality either. I mean, Vitek came in, now he pulled up injured. I really want to see more of Vitek, but Hegem and Chazale as the centre backs, and tell me, because we can give criticism to Freuler and Pobega in the double pivot because they haven't been so press resistant, they've been losing the ball, etc., and everything that we said before. But the midfielders of Juve are better when Bremer is there.
Yes, of course, because there's solidity, right?
They definitely need to invest in this defense,
I think
100 million%.
Yes. They need a seasoned centre back. And I'm talking like I think they don't have players that Cremonese have, for the love of God. Like they don't have a Baschirotto. They don't have that Serie A leader. They have Casale who plays like he has anxiety. They have Hegem who's just arrived. Lukumi whose brain switches off randomly at random moments this season.
Yes.
So yes, a sturdy centre-back, a reliable centre-back would be very helpful for them. Vitek has been good, don't get me wrong.
Vitek's been okay.
But we're talking about a veteran centre-back. Someone like Romagnoli.
Exactly.
Someone like fucking... Acerbi. Someone, like Bremer.
Yes, bro. De Vrij would be decent in many ways.
Someone like that, man.
Just a leader. They're definitely missing a leader. That is, bro. I mean, when it comes to big characters, they've lost the majority of them. They've only kept Orsolini from those. Castro can be, but Castro's 20 years old. What, he's going to do it all by himself? Castro wins the ball back so much going forward, trying to restart attacks and everything. He can't do it all by himself. And I feel like these two positions behind the striker, the left winger and the attacking midfielder, they get jumbled up too much.
Yeah.
One day it's him, the other day it's him,
There's
the other day it's him, the other day
rotation,
it's him.
Yeah.
It's not like it was when it was Orsolini, Ferguson, Salamakers. It was under Motta, for example.
Yes. How are they doing in Europe, actually? I want to check, because it could be the case. They're 13th in the Europa League, so it could be
Better than Napoli.
Yes, better than last season. So we've seen an improvement.
Of course, they got like what, a point last season?
Yes, it was awful. But at least maybe there's that. They can have a positive run in the Europa League, so we will watch that very closely and eagerly, Clive.
Yes, we will. On to you, huh?
Yes.
See?
What was that, bro? What's the worst thing she can say is no. How does
The worst thing she can say is no. Oh, really? What if she says, "We're back here for some Bundesliga action here at the start there, whatever.
the Unipol.
Frankfurt take on Borussia Dortmund." Excellent.
And then her fat friend comes and is like, "Yeah, Derek."
Yeah, Derek.
Hilarious.
Bundesliga.
Brilliant. Cremonese 0, Hellas 0. Vardy almost scored from halfway. That's it. It's
Nearly.
over. Nearly. And by nearly, I mean he missed the target.
Yes.
But anyway. Yes, it was a goalless draw at the Stadio Giovanni Zini. A result that would see Cremonese much happier than Hellas Verona. It was Audero in goal for Cremonese in their 3-5-2 formation with Ceccherini, Baschirotto and Bianchetti at the back. Three Titans with Barbieri on the right, Terracciano on the left, Warren, Bondo, Grassi and Van de Putte in the middle. Van de Putte acting as a channel midfielder, often attacking the wings and bursting with pace, even though his legs aren't that long. Bonazzoli and Vardy playing together up front. For Hellas, it was Perilli in goal with Ebosse, Nelson and Strostraga at the back. Bradaric on the left, Lirola on the right, Bernade and Gagliardini in the middle with Sar and Jovan flanking Gift Orban. Now, this match actually followed the historical trend of balance between the two teams, which this was the 27th official meeting. There were 10 wins for Cremonese, 11 draws and 6 victories for Hellas Verona. The latest draw also extended Cremonese's poor home run, as they now hit 6 matches without a win at the Zini, their last victory coming back in early December for Cremonese. So Cremonese controlled possession for long spells and they actually finished with 56% of the ball, but clear chances were not very frequent. Vardy came closest to breaking the deadlock in the first half with an audacious attempt from the near halfway line, which I mentioned earlier, while Grassi narrowly missed the target after the break, despite being one of the league's most effective teams in terms of headers, with 6 headed goals this season, second only to Napoli. Cremonese struggled to turn territorial dominance into real danger. Even though Bonazzoli was quite well serviced this game, I thought at one point across game, and it was quite a good one, but he almost thought about an audacious attempt and missed the opportunity, and it just bounced past him. Hellas, who have conceded, by the way, 34 goals this season, were more compacted than usual and they limited the hosts to just 1 shot on target. However, their long-standing issues resurfaced in attack. They are the team with the fewest different goal scorers in Serie A, and once again they failed to find the cutting edge and register more shots than Cremonese. Late drama never truly arrived, and to be honest with you, there really wasn't much in this game, man, to be honest. Not many chances whatsoever. And I think Cremonese will be very satisfied with this game because they acted as disruptors. They kept the XG low. Granted, the Cremonese keeper did have Audero, of course, some great saves this game, and the commentator kept mentioning as well that in the reverse fixture, which was also a 0-0, Audero was spectacular. So he did make 4 good saves this game, Audero. However, they didn't give Hellas many opportunities.
I think you know what really stands out to me, man. How Cremonese, who have had, out of the newly promoted teams, Cremonese are spoken about, like, you know, because they've gotten the win over Milan, they've gotten some big wins, they score great goals. They're level on points with Parma. And Parma are being talked about like favourites for relegation, you know. This is where shit gets real now, this part of the season. I think Cremonese will take this point because they know how many losses they're going to accumulate for the majority of the season now. I think they just want to get to the safe spot, the 40-something points, and I think they can consider this season a success. They've got a lot of players on loan, they've got a lot of work to do when it comes to maintaining, because, you know, Empoli have had the start. the same season they got relegated. Udinese have had the start the same season they almost got relegated when they had let go of Sotil, etc. So I think for Cremonese it's good to move with caution. For Verona, these are the kind of games that they have the opportunity to win. It's the game you change up something, leave something up your sleeve, bring Orban on, play a different formation, do something different that's going to help you win this game. They're both on pretty poor form at the moment. If you look at their previous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches each, they've both got 3 losses and 2 draws. So this had draw written all over it, man.
It did, and seasoned gamblers would have seized this opportunity to make a quick buck. I mean, I just put on the highlights right now to refresh my memory, and the chances are so low quality that were created. They come from individual errors that create half chances in weird pockets. That was a really great save by Audero on Giovanni.
That is a great save.
I mean, I'm not sure it was heading in, to be honest. It might have been out swinging there, but a good save by the pride of Indonesia.
He made sure we wouldn't know whether it was going in or out.
Exactly.
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Did you skip the Roma game?
Did I skip the Roma game?
You did.
Oh, I did. Yes, I did. We'll do it next.
We'll do it next. Yeah. It works out well because it's just before Cesco's voice note.
Amazing.
So we've got a surprise for you guys. Just before Cesco's voice note, we're covering Roma. Let's jump to Cremonese Verona then. The other 0-0.
This was what we've just discussed.
Oh, sorry, Madonna. Parma Genoa. Parma. Let's jump to Parma Genoa. Another 0-0.
Hour 2 is approaching.
Yeah. Parma's second 0-0 of the week after holding Napoli midweek. The game before they beat Lecce. They're undefeated in 3 games, bless them, Parma. Here they missed Friggin, Suzuki, Ndai, Almqvist, Huayta, with Troilo and Lovic only fit for the bench. Genoa also on an undefeated run, but of 4. Coming off a 3-0 thumping of Cagliari, here they missed Grombek, Ekuban and Sigrist. If you guess what the previous encounter was, I'll give you €1.
0-0.
Congratulations, you've won €1. That's an aggregate of 0-0 between Parma and Genoa this season, and I'd have it no other way. For Parma, 4-3-3 formation, Corvi in goal, backline of Del Prato, Circati, Valenti, Valeri. I'll keep banging on this drum. Parma don't have a team that should be battling relegation. I hear other people talk about Parma like they should be in a relegation battle. The only reason they should be in a relegation battle is because they sold their best players like Bonni, Dennis Mann, etc., but because they have a 29-year-old manager. They have a manager that's a year older than me. This team is great. Keita, Estevez and Bernabé in midfield with Ondrejka on the left, Oristano on the right and Pellegrino up front.
To be fair, we have seen... this is a good team. I like this team a lot. It's very, very nifty. But we have seen teams of similar quality go down.
Spal,
of course.
Empoli.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Sassuolo.
We have. But these shouldn't be if you compare their starting lineup to Lecce, Hellas Verona.
No, well, Hellas, I think, actually shouldn't be dead last right now.
They shouldn't be dead last, but they should absolutely be battling relegation.
But I think the competition is tight. How many of these small teams move quite intelligently in the market? And I think if you had to get the sporting director of the likes of Parma, the likes of Cremonese, and actually replace whoever the fuck the sporting director of Manchester United is, they would actually improve tenfold, I think.
I don't even think they have.
Do you even have a sporting director, Nick?
Yes, one of Omar Berrada.
Yes.
Or Sir Jim's, one of Sir Jim's little twats.
Okay.
One of Sir Jim's little twats.
I love that.
Yeah, I'd love to be one of Sir Jim's little twats.
Yeah.
Please. 3-5-2 formation for De Rossi's men. Leali in goal, backline of Marcandalli, Ostegard and Vasquez, Sabelli on the right, Martin on the left, midfielder of Malinovsky, Frendrup and Ellertson, with Colombo and Vicin up front together. There's some early pressure by Genoa. Colombo was very active. He had around 3 shots in 20 minutes, man. 1 over, 1 saved by Corvi, 1 big chance wasted from Ellertson's cutback. Colombo is on great form. He's very involved in these games, but he's either not looking up or he's gotten a bit greedy.
I mean, that tends to happen, and
On 2 occasions, he had to pass the ball.
Bro. This is symptomatic of strikers in general. I mean, at the end of the day, you want a striker who backs himself to score in most situations, but that's where you draw a fine line, because if someone's missing these regularly, then they're just not a good striker, right?
This is the
selfless strikers hardly exist.
This is the same mistake this level of striker makes. You're gonna get exactly what I'm talking about. Colombo, Pinamonti, Piccoli,
Kristovic, yes.
Those that they have the same. You know what word I want to say. They have the same problem. These guys.
Yeah, totally.
They score a couple in a row and then they think they're the next.
The worst,
Maradona.
but the CEO of them is Kristovic. Yeah?
Yes, Kristovic is
the most selfish player in the league, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
But you know, I mean, he was at Lecce. He had every right to be selfish there.
Yes, but now he has Pasalic making a run at the far post. You give it to him, you know. Yeah. Parma respond. Bernabé tested Leali, Sabelli had a header just wide after a Marcandalli cross. The game got pretty scrappy from then. There were fouls, cards, rhythm drops. Genoa got really pissed off on Draka, escaped a second yellow just before the second half. And then the second half, there was a bit of a shift. Parma took control territorially but created little. Genoa dropped a bit deeper and they closed the spaces. It was quite a cross-heavy finale. Parma looked for Pellegrino, then Juric, but inaccurate crosses, no clean headers, nothing quite clear-cut, nothing Cuesta had done at Arsenal, let's put it that way. There was a late Genoa chance in the 88th minute. Colombo got free in the box, but Corvi saved again. Corvi has been playing really, really well, but that was the end of it. It was essentially quite an even game. It was Genoa's 3-5-2 blocking central progression and forcing Parma wide. Parma obliged, they went wide because they've got good headers and they've got good crosses, etc., but they couldn't deliver a single good cross, and that was essentially how the game in a nutshell went about.
Parma will gladly take this point because it keeps them 3 points above Genoa directly. And with quite a bit of breathing room from the relegation spot. Torino are down there, huh? Torino are level on points with Cremonese and Parma, by the way.
I know.
So interesting to see how the mighty have fallen with Baroni.
Yes, very mighty.
Yeah.
Yes, Parma safer,
Yeah.
Genoa compact. Genoa find themselves in 16th on 20 points. While... where are you?
Above them.
While
Parma.
find themselves in 13th on 23 points.
All right. Last but not least, is this the last game we have?
Yes.
Okay, last but not least, we've got Torino-Roma. This was a 2-0 victory for Roma, and Daniel Malin has arrived. Now, historically, this just paints the picture as to how dominant Torino used to be in the past, right? These teams have met 90 times in Serie A. Torino have 38 wins. Roma have 20 wins, and there were 32 draws.
Wow.
Right? Just 5 days earlier, before this fixture, Torino had knocked Roma out of the Coppa Italia, winning 3-2 in the capital. So there's that whole dynamic to focus on over here as well. And the last league meeting here, so Torino lose 2-0 also to Roma. This was in 24-25. And that was Ranieri's last match as Roma coach.
That was the last league meeting in the stadium, right? Because I believe Torino beat Roma earlier this season, 1-0.
No, in 24-25, the last match of Claudio Ranieri last season. Torino were at home.
Yes, but you said the last league meeting here. So at the stadium, not the last league meeting.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
at the stadium, at Torino Stadium.
Yes.
Yes, so getting into the lineups, Gasperini did not hesitate, he did not wait, he did not waste any time. He was so excited to play with his new toy that he unleashed them from the get-go. In fact, for Roma, it was Svilar in goal with Mancini and Dikant Hermoso at the back in their 3-4-2-1 system, Rensch and Wesley out wide. Wesley was playing on the left this time, Cohen and Cristante in the middle with Dybala and Pellegrini playing off the narrow shoulders of Malin, a bold hero.
Yes, Bold King.
Torino had Pagliari in goal in their 3-1-4-2 formation, as it's displayed over here, with Tameze, Ismaili and Coco at the back. Ikan playing behind Lazaro, Vlasic, Genaitis and Abuklal. Adams and Ngonj were playing up front together. Notable missing players were Sava, Schurz, Mazina and Ilic for Torino. They would be missing those guys, particularly Schurz and Ilic, while Roma were missing Golini, Dovbik, Baldanzi, El Ainawi and Ferguson. Now. Yes, so Roma immediately looked sharper from the get-go. It was Pellegrini who scuffed a good chance early on, while Malin tested Pagliari at the near post. Dybala and Malin from the get-go, you could see that they were combining repeatedly and combining very effectively. Roma did think that they'd scored when Malin ran onto a Dybala through ball, cut inside and finished calmly. It was a lovely goal. However, VAR ruled it fractionally offside, but then, 26th minute, another goal for Malin. It was another Dybala assist. Malin controlled, took a touch, and he finished with his right foot from 7 yards. This was a dream Serie A debut for Malin, and a nightmare for Torino has to rub salt into their wounds. Abuklal had to go off injured. And then in the second half, Torino tried to start by being more aggressive. Lazaro had a good chance, but he shot it straight at Svilar. Ngonj was nearly in, but Indica had a fantastic recovery tackle. Indica, bro, what comes to mind with Indica, just to give you a quick note over here, composure.
Composure.
So composed.
Composure.
Just as Torino were pushing, Roma struck again. This time it would be in the 72nd minute. Dybala shot from range, Pagliari parried, Mancini recycled possession, Rensch pulled back, and Dybala finished with the outside of his boot. A really cool finish.
Yes.
Like sideways,
Yes.
He wasn't even facing the goal.
Nonchalant.
Yeah.
Nonchalant.
This was his first Serie A goal in almost 3 months, funnily enough, because he's been starting regularly and playing quite well. Yeah.
But he lacks, I don't know if you're down from that, but he lacks the same risk-taking. It's almost like he's playing on ice skates. Which takes nothing away from his game, his vision, his press resistance, the way he operates in tight areas. But he's not charging towards goal, he's not taking the risk on himself, he's always playing through his opponents, playing a bit more like Modric plays. You know, where he'd rather release than drive forward.
Yeah. He is taking care of himself, literally.
Yes.
And you could see this game, for example, again, 5 shots. I mean, none of them really hit with incredible power to the point he could fuck himself up. Just 2 things. Malin hit the side netting, again, could have made it a double. And then Robinho Vaz came on and almost scored on his debut. And I believe Robinho Vaz, the new arrival, is in fact a teenager. Let me just confirm that. Yes, indeed, he is 18 years old and he's French. He came from Marseille.
Oh, yeah.
New boy over there. New toys for Gasperini, bro.
A Robinho from Marseille.
Oh, God. Terrible combination, that.
Terrible. Awful.
Bro, Malin.
Yes.
One of our patrons sent, I forgot who it was, and I'm so sorry because it was good. He sent a meme of Ferguson saying, "I'm in danger." You know, like, because it's true. He was incredible. He was great.
No,
he's been everything that Roma have been missing.
Yes.
He is capable of attacking those half spaces. He's so quick. He's aggressive as well. And he's very technical as well, so he actually does well when he gets into those tight areas, as we saw on the offside goal, where he managed to take a step sideways, teeing himself up for the shot. What did you make of Malin, man?
I thought he looked unbelievable, bro. I haven't seen a Serie A debut like that since I don't know when. It was just so convincing. Just like Roma had the opposite problem of everyone else. The opposite problem of Juve, the opposite problem of Milan. It wasn't they didn't have a target man. It's they didn't have a channel forward. They didn't have someone that can run in behind. You know, they only had target men. Dovbik is a target man. Ferguson's a target man. If they're trying to do anything else, it's not what they're supposed to be doing. But Malin came in and he's attacking the spaces, he's attacking the channels. Someone that Dybala, who can put you on a platter, clean through on goal. It's hard to do that with a target man. You're going to need to be doing the runs yourself because a target man receives the ball early. He's barely making a run in behind. This guy, he's going to be making runs for days, and he has the pace, he has the composure, that power in his run, bro. That like he's like a pit bull when he runs. And just those two clean ass finishes, and I'm gonna say it, guys, that number 14 on his back, that clean shaven head, that skin tone, bruv was giving me Thierry Henry up front, man. I mentioned someone's skin tone, and Nick over there had an allergic reaction.
Yeah, absolutely. What a debut for him, man. Shout out to, of course, Mancini and Ndeka, who were great at the back. Very solid. It feels like Mancini really rose to the occasion as well.
Yes.
Kone was good. Wesley was good. They really limited Torino to very few chances. And when they did have their chances, of course, they didn't really take them very well. And Zvilar was way ahead of them, as he typically is, of course.
Yeah. No, totally agreed. Good 2 points, Madonna. Good 3 points for Rome over here. Away to Torino, I believe they lost the reverse fixture 1-0 against Torino, so it's good to get even in that sense as well.
How the hell do you remember that?
I don't know, man. But they did that 1-0.
The reverse fixture was a 1-0 loss. Scored. Fucking hell, man. What minute are you?
First half.
No.
Okay,
59th minute. Yes, it's important to mention as well that the Coppa Italia game between Roma and Torino was very exciting. Adams scored twice. Ilkan scored in the 90th minute. Hermoso scored for Roma, and teenager Arena got his first ever goal for Roma.
Yes.
And Arena, I believe, just out of fear of exaggerating, I'm going to double check. He is
the Australian
16
Italian,
years old.
Australian
Italian. 16 years old.
16, Madonna.
Scoring on his debut, Antonio Arena. Remember the name.
Yes, sir. Yeah, just like we're supposed to remember who was that Genoa, guys.
Vaffanculo.
that left-sided player Genoa brought on the end of last season. He randomly scored a doppietta. Remember the name. He hasn't featured once, I think.
Well, he might pop out of nowhere, though. Doesn't mean his career is over.
Fucking no. I don't think his career is over. I think he's wasted if he's not being played. I think he should be sent out on loan or something.
He might have left, not to be fair.
No. I saw his name recently. Ventura. I didn't look it up. I was looking it up, but look where I am. It's not true. Ventura, where is he?
First name Ace.
Venturino.
Yes. Venturino, exactly. Exactly.
Number 76.
The last game of the season when everyone was in Scythe mode, this guy was killing it.
Exactly.
Alright. So standings before we get into our segments. Yes, it is Roma in 4th with 42 points. While, of course, Torino are down in the dumps in 14th with 23 points.
But I think it's just the perfect spot now to let patron Cesco take it away. If you've been following for a while, you know who Cesco is. You find him hilarious. Try be around him for more than 10 minutes. Joking, I love the guy. Yeah. So we're just going to play his recording, react to what he has to say. Obviously, the biggest Roma fan we know, right?
Yeah.
So take it away, Cesc.
What's up? Ciao. It's your favorite Romanista here again. This time with a video for my favorite couple, Jake and Matt. I'm here to talk about Roma because I have 15 minutes, and if you guys know me, 15 minutes is barely enough time to get my points across. But yeah, let's get into it. Firstly, we sit at 42 points, 3 points on top of Juventus. Considering we spent 20 games without a striker because, Ferguson came in. We expected a lot from him. Dovbyk spent, 4 months injured already. Gasperini falling out with Ferguson, putting him back in the team. We've literally played over 10 games with Dybala as a false 9, Baldanzi as a false 9. So, my first, well, I wouldn't call it a point, it's just clarity, I guess. It's a miracle that we're at 4th place. A big miracle. Gasperini has showed us how much of a good coach he is. He has adapted to us. He's literally adapted to every situation. Now, he has made his mistakes, don't get me wrong, but he shows you what an amazing coach he is. And the fact that he demands players and is not scared to say something out in public, he's incredible, right? If it was another coach, would probably be sitting in 7th place. We have purchased Milan now. Roma to Torino 0. Wow. What a player. To be honest, we've been lacking a player like this since, I wouldn't say Salah, but it's not just it. Our problem this year has been attack. We have the best defense, yes, but when shit hit the fan, when we played Milan, when we played Napoli, actually when we played Milan, we were quite pragmatic, but the rest of the direct encounters, Atalanta, Inter, Napoli, Juve, zero. No attack, no balls. These teams, all of the teams I mentioned, are at least somewhere or another pragmatic in attack. You have Milan, who always has someone going forward, facing the defense, eye to eye, telling him, just with his gaze, I'm going to try and dribble you. We don't have anyone like that. You have Sule, who cuts inside, tries the same move. Not to mention the fact that Dybala he's still Dybala, but he's finished. As in, he played an amazing game, and I'll get to certain points, sorry. My bad. Don't want to slip on my words, but Dybala is not what he used to be. Ever since he got injured last year against, I think, Cagliari, it was. You've been seeing Roma games, you have noticed he is afraid to shoot. He's afraid to shoot, and you can't have players who are afraid to shoot, especially when you need goals. But Milan literally brought the best out of Dybala yesterday. But anyways, we have no one in attack. No one. Because Ferguson, when he plays, he's more agile than Dovbyk. But you still have a fucking lamppost just waiting for the ball. Tell me, how are you going to score? And don't get me wrong, no one serves him right. No one serves him balls. Wesley, however, is our best attacker. Ironically, he's not even an attacker. He's our best attacker. Why? Because he's pragmatic. He's fast. He grabs the ball. Has 2 left feet at times, but he just tries, tries. No one who tries. So, with Milan now on the team, we saw a different Roma. A Roma which is pragmatic. A Roma which is very dangerous. Now, we managed to win most of the games this year. Now, we won it with no striker. We won it fair and square. We got lucky. We're sitting at that position right now. I wouldn't expect us to finish top 4, but if we sign someone like Zirkzee, which is what we need, which is what we always needed, drop-down striker, with Milan, I seriously think we can compete. Because, it hurts. It hurts, because this coach has never been backed. Back to Gasperini, he has not been back this summer. They bought him players like Ferguson, who's on loan. Tsimikas, doesn't give a fuck. You have, our defense he doesn't have to complain about, but he has 2 youngsters to fill in the gaps. He has players who, improved, but they're dead weight. Celik, he's made the best out of players like Celik. He has to always play Kone 90 minutes a game. Now, Kone is an incredible midfielder, don't get me wrong. Apart from his shooting, he's an incredible midfielder. But he can't play 90 minutes after 90 minutes after 90 minutes after 90 minutes. Just can't. The only player he's been backed to was El Enawi. So, this coach with no signings, because it's not fair to say, we signed 8 players, because that's a lie. There 6, 7 of them he did not want. So he got back with Wesley and El-Nawi. My bad. You can't compete, and it hurts because he's brought a winning mentality to us, and he's brought unity. And it hurts because we sit at 4th place. At time of speaking, we're 7 points under Inter. And it's only recently that we dropped from 1st to 2nd to 4th to 5th and to 4th again. You had those couple of players which you bought correctly. I'm not saying we'd be first, not at all. But let's say we drew against Milan, drew against Napoli. You know, maybe that Cagliari game you wouldn't have lost because you actually had a pragmatic player. That's 3 points extra to us. And also, you have -2 to Milan, -2 to Milan, -2 to Napoli, and you have 3 extra points. You know, you'd be playing with 2nd, 3rd right now. It really hurts. Honestly, it does, because I'm not used to saying that Roma is, you know, in a position to challenge for the title. But we were there. And anyone can make fun of us, alright. Everyone, can make fun of us for the fact that we're not winning these direct encounters, like big games. But they're games which we've showed we're consistent. Beating teams which showed to other teams, look, we're not so easy to beat away. So that is something. That is something. We are where we are. Just due to grinding. So will we break the cycle? If we get Zirkzee, I'm not sure. You have to be realistic. With Zirkzee, it's already enough. But like, if we can get a wing back or another midfielder just for the depth, I seriously think we can challenge for top 4. Because it's either we challenge for top 4 or we'll go all the way for the Europa League. Now, that's not me being delusional. Because I genuinely believe this team is, well, capable. It is capable. We have some pragmatic players. We have Indica, who's proven to be such an amazing defender. Like, I could easily give him man of the match yesterday. Because Gasperini, the way he plays, he makes sure the centre-backs are going to press and be part of the attack. And Indica has done that brilliantly ever since Gasperini came in. The other 2 defenders have done that. So, you have Indica, you have Sule, you have Malin, who I just have an amazing feeling about. So just hype. This man knows how to play ball. He shows it. You have something there, you know. You have El-Nawi, he's been phenomenal for Morocco. Kone. Can't throw away Cristante, even though people are mixed about him. You have Wesley. You have the best goaler in Serie A. You know, you have the players, you know, to compete. You just need that extra step. And I believe we have a psychological problem when it comes to beating these big teams. But anyways, so that's Gasperini. That's yesterday's game. That's our season review. Can we break the cycle? Settled transfer-wise, I mentioned. I hope we can build on this. I hope till the end of the season, I can't mention next season who has to go and who doesn't. Really believe in the present. I genuinely hope that we can grind this consistency. Because this team is united. And, you know, we have shown reactions. It's not a weak team psychologically. We're weak in certain aspects because, you know, we know we need the next step. But that's why Gasperini is here. Gasperini, I believe, the last coach we had who brought a big team mentality was Mourinho. And he wasn't backed. And I believe Gasperini is the next man to bring this mentality to us. So, I genuinely hope that injuries treat us kind. Because we're a Malin injury away from, like, back to mediocrity. Yeah. That's it. Forza Roma.
Cesco, correction. This team isn't United, it's Roma. So what I noticed is you started off by saying it's a miracle we are in fourth, but then you also mentioned that it feels like a wasted opportunity, not really pushing for the title when you could have. Now I understand why a fan of Roma would feel like both those situations are real, because you're seeing yourself there. You're seeing your team playing quite decently, you know what I mean? You're seeing this almost new lease of life, you know, about your team, and you're there, but it's not quite sustainable, right? And we said this from the get-go, that the XG wasn't sustainable. The chances created, the goals conceded, it wasn't exactly sustainable from the get-go. Roma weren't creating enough opportunities for this to be sustainable long term. However, I do agree with most of your points, but first I'll give you a second to react to something, bro.
No, I agree that there were, I feel like, some transfers throughout the summer period that were maybe not prioritized or half-assed with the signings that were made, like signing of Ferguson, who's a similar profile to Dovbyk, where they should have perhaps gone for a runner in behind kind of thing. These little decisions that are made in the summer that really impact the winter and how the season goes. Even the fact that Cesco mentioned and praised El Lainawi. I don't think there was enough investment in a quality midfielder to pair with Kone. He mentions Cristante and how he can do quite a few things, and he's consistent, etc. I think more investment was needed in midfield, and I think I think as a Roma fan in this current period, he ends up giving the benefit of the doubt to players that aren't of a certain quality, like we used to seasons ago when Milan were kind of trying to find their way back into that top four debate. So I think being more demanding with your club is absolutely fine, because then you see what happens when you bring in a Malin, when you bring in a Kone, when you bring in an Indica, a Wesley. You know, you see they take your club to the next level, man.
Absolutely. I agree with many things that Cesco said, that Gasperini at this point in his career deserves the signings. I do believe that Roma can actually go for an Europa League push, because of course Gasperini is a manager who has won it and who tends to do quite well in knockout tournaments. I agree with him about Dybala, that he's not quite the player he used to be. His quality all round, of course, is still there, and he's still a gem to watch, and on his day he's still very, very tricky to play against, but he's not a long-term solution, and right now it's almost like he's being tailored to play in a very cautious way, you know, like and that's not exactly ideal, and it's not sustainable going forward either.
Yes.
What do you think about the over-reliance on Kone? I feel like that's very true.
Yes, absolutely, and they'll run him to the ground, and God forbid he gets injured, because they'll be that's classic, right? When you don't invest enough in a certain position. Just to say, there's a lot of focus on, can Roma make top four? Juve are right on their asses, which is obviously from watching the league, we understand that should be the debate. But keep in mind, Roma are 1 point off of Napoli, They're 1 point off of Napoli in third. They are 4 points off of Milan, who are in second. They're Roma. Roma have won more games than Napoli and Milan.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll take that a step further. Roma are the team with the second most wins this season. Only Inter have more. Their fucking problem, Roma, is, firstly, I can't believe that a team that has only conceded 12 goals has lost seven games.
Agreed. That is bizarre.
That's mental.
And that's because they had problems scoring, because Gasperini was prioritizing maybe he was being a little bit too pragmatic, perhaps, because he didn't maybe trust the team so much.
Yes.
But if they can get their hands on Zirkzee, that would be massive. I highly doubt it, personally.
I think they went for Malin, because they wouldn't wait around for Zirkzee, to be honest.
With Malin, it gives them a new dynamic. I still think that Ferguson, especially, and Dovbyk are still useful. We have seen as Milan fans how useful it can be to have a target man in the box, for example the game against Cagliari, right? And I'm sure that Roma in in some of the games earlier on this season could have really used Dovbyk when he was out injured for a while, you know, to unlock some of the defenses. But yes, very good points, Cesco. I agree with you. No attack, no balls early on, and I loved your point about Malin, a player that you've lacked since Salah. Very interesting. I assume you mean because he attacks
Direct.
the channels, very direct. Yeah, very lethal in front of goal. But yeah, very
amazing.
good, Cesco. I love this segment personally. I look
Same
forward
here.
to the next one.
And let us know, guys. Bomb the comments if you want to hear about a particular team next.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's jump to our prediction series. Brother, just a reminder, we are 3-3. And I'm making the comeback.
You are making the comeback.
I'm... Alright.
Because I'm gonna fuck you. Take two. Sorry, Nick, man, Madonna.
I'm gonna fuck you. Alright. Jeez, man.
And what's the correlation? It didn't even make sense. Alright.
3, 2, 1. So on to the prediction series. As you guys know, it's 3-3. And I'm getting my comeback. Bro, I want my comeback.
Yes, brother, I'm sure you do, but it's gone forever now. Let's get straight into it. So the first thing we have is Inter Pisa, who play fantastic, exciting football against Inter. What's going to happen over there? Shall you start or shall I start?
You start this time.
I go Inter win, playing it safe.
Pisa are disruptive. Inter have midweek mayhem against our Asna. And that's happening right now on a Tuesday. This game's on a Friday. I'm gonna go wild. I'm gonna go bold. Draw.
Give him his comeback.
Give me my comeback.
So now it's your turn to guess Como Torino.
Como win.
Como win. I too say Como win.
Okay.
And now it's my turn for Fiorentina Cagliari. Fiorentina Cagliari for me is a draw.
It's a draw for me as well.
Okay, so you're up for Lecce Lazio.
Lecce Lazio. Lazio have to bounce back. This is... No. This is a draw.
Okay, I say Lazio win this one. Okay, so it's my turn for Sassuolo Cremonese, and I say this ends in a draw as well.
Previous encounter was Cremonese victory. This one's a Sassuolo victory.
Ooh. All right. Next up, bro, for you, Genoa Bologna.
Oh my god. Genoa Bologna, the Rosso Blue Derby. Bologna need to win. Bologna.
I'll go draw. Atalanta Parma for me, draw.
Atalanta.
Okay,
Ooh,
so
this is gonna be a good one.
Juve
This is
Napoli
gonna
for
be
you.
a good one. Oh. Jeez. Juve Napoli. Oh my god. Juve Napoli. I'm leaning more. If I had to choose someone to win, it's Juve, honestly. Because of Napoli's injuries. And I know Juve are coming off a loss, but it almost motivates them more, man. Juve win.
I'll go draw here and Conte will be happy. I'll go... Okay, so now it's Roma Milan. And... Fuck. I think this is a draw.
You know
As
what
well.
happens in my predictions when Inter don't win? What do you think Milan do? Win? You kidding me? Draw.
Yeah, and finally we have Hellas Udinese, brother.
If not, Milan's second loss of the season, but I won't go so far. Let me say a draw for now.
So now it's Hellas Udinese.
Draw.
Hellas victory. Come on, Ben. Come on, Gift Orban. Come on, Jovan. Jovan might be off to Lazio, by the way. Forgot to mention. Yes.
That'll solve all their problems.
Okay. So that was our prediction segment. Alright, lads, it's time for an update on our fantasy football league, and this week is massive because for the first time this season we have a new capolista. Inter your mom, David Vavra, has been displaced by Catenaccio Maxi, Alan, of course, who has overtaken him and is currently in first place with 1,572.5 points compared to David's 1,568 points.
Alan's been coming up for ages, huh?
He has. He's been on the up, he's been on the rise, and he has overtaken him. Well deservedly so. Giordano 67 is in third with SSC Dries Nuts in fourth and Zanetti's asshole in fifth. For top performers this week, Daniel actually had the best week of everyone this week, with Interbred being his team name with 77 points. Alan, of course, with 76. Tanino Batman Choco Loco with 75.5. Dequan makes an appearance with 74th. No Duda All Coco for Luca, who has made an appearance as well with 73.5 points. Dictor Bonerface, Luca Magic, that's 73.5 points. And .42 FC Goblin Mussolini with 73 points.
Imagine Dictor Bonerface at Milan. I forgot that was a whole fucking.
He's retiring.
Apparently,
he's considering it. I think.
Apparently
was the latest. Yes, but now we are totally primed and ready to go into our wisdom with the Wank segment. Wisdom with the Wank. The weather's bad. It's okay. Wank. It's okay. You worked from home. It's okay if you wank twice. All yours, brother.
Everyone's gonna think I wanked twice. I didn't. I didn't wank once. God. Whatever. Okay. Success without purpose is pointless. Find your purpose and watch the success you seek come to you.
So you're saying prioritize purpose ahead of success. And if you prioritize purpose, then success is a guarantee.
Success without purpose is pointless. Okay. Success without purpose is pointless. Find your purpose and watch this. Here we are. Okay. I got it, Simi.
You got it?
Purpose and success have one thing in common, right? Achievement. No? Your success is an achievement. You have achieved success.
Okay.
Purpose. Your purpose in life is achieving something that means a lot to you. Whether your purpose is to take stray cats off the street, or if it's to be a surgeon or to have a podcast or whatever, that's the common goal. But to succeed at your purpose, that's something. So
I think he's saying that it's inevitable. If you have purpose, you have succeeded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But imagine, just to take one further than Simi, so us, right? I work in sales, you're an English teacher. We can call that success, you know. We make a decent wage, we make a decent living, you know. Purpose is this, right? It's the show. It's presenting. That's at least what I consider to be my purpose, and I'm sure a part of you agrees, but you're giving me a bit of a blank look.
Spreading the love of football. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I agree.
Yes, I would say that's our purpose.
We are preachers, and Serie A is our religion.
Find your purpose and watch the success you seek come to you. So do the show every week for 5 years, even when you don't feel like, even when you're sick and whatever.
Even when there's a storm outside.
Even when there's a Storm Harry outside.
Storm Harry.
And watch the success come to you. become a patron and help us
Yeah.
find success through our purpose.
Make us believe, Simi.
Make us believe, Simi.
We don't believe, Simi.
Become a patron, Simi.
Become a patron, Simi.
Stop wanking. Beautiful. So, thank you, guys. Another episode down. Plenty more to come from us. We'll catch you all next week. If you have any questions, drop us a DM. Until then, we'll see you next week.
Thank
Ciao,
you very
ciao.
much for listening.
If you like Serie A or have ever liked it in the past, it's a good opportunity for you to listen once a week and you'll get filled in.
The football weekend, that's like the main dish. But then a few days later, you drop your episode and that's like the dessert. And the dessert is just perfect.
It's good, the cake.
It makes it feel like we're all sitting in a room together, just BSing with each other.
The atmosphere is fantastic.
I promise nobody will ask you to send boob pics.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I love how you go into so much detail and show so much passion towards each and every team. Literally, no team is left undiscussed.
When I listen to you, it's like I'm talking to you in a pub. It's like I'm chatting to a friend and you're chatting to me.